welcome to another episode of Just Us Dads, the podcast that brings you three loving dads that talk about being loving dads. As always, George Chris is with me, and we have a special guest today, Alex. We're going to have an interesting conversation today, an old friend, and well, we're going to get to all the details about what he does and his family life and everything else that revolves around his life that I think will bring you all great value.
Lights.
Yeah, I forgot the lights. So, Alex, thanks for coming, man. I appreciate it, and welcome to the Dadversation.
Thank you for having me, guys. It's really exciting. It's my first ever podcast. I've always wanted to do one.
I'm so proud.
And now I'm here. I'm a little nervous, but excited.
Don't be nervous. It's gonna be fine, man. It's not like you don't know us, you know. No, it's interesting because Chris last week we were recording. He said, "Man, we should." I was thinking about bringing Alex on the podcast. I'm like, "That's fantastic," you know, because you lead an interesting life, and I think a lot of dads out there would enjoy the conversation because you don't have that standard 9-to-5 job where you come home. I mean, it's very unique, and we're going to talk a little bit about what you do and stuff. But before that, how's the family, man? How's the wife?
Family's doing great.
3 kids now.
Awesome. It's great. Chaotic. Every day is chaos, and I embrace it with love.
Just for the record, your eldest is how old now?
My eldest is 5. She turned 5 in September. My middle child, my son, is turning 4 in March, and my little one just turned 2.
Yeah, that's a handful.
So they're pretty close together.
Yeah, those ages are tricky, man.
A lot of bickering amongst them.
The question is, are you going for the 4th?
Never. I love my children, and I have zero regrets. Everything is fantastic, but definitely not a 4th. No.
You probably didn't want a 3rd, but the operation was scheduled for later.
I was good with 2, but I was okay with having a 3rd as well.
Yeah.
But we kept it there.
You see, you got a good mix. You know, you have 2 girls and a boy. You got the boy second. I would have stopped there. See, I got 2 girls, and we said this in an earlier podcast where we were discussing if whether or not we're going to have other kids. And I was thinking, and I was saying, it'd be interesting to have another pair of testicles in the house, but. Is it worth the risk of getting another girl? You know what I mean? And I think I'm going to stop. I'm like, you know what? We're good with 2, plus my wife, 3.
Funnily enough,
Plus human.
Plus,
after my daughter, when my wife told me she was pregnant again, I was kind of hoping for a girl again, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
There was a part of me that wanted another girl. I don't know if it's because I was used to having a girl and I really enjoyed the bond that we share and all that. And also, I found it really difficult to imagine having a son for some reason. Like, I was used to having a daughter, and I didn't understand how would it feel like. What would it feel like to have a son? Am I going to love him as much as my daughter? All these,
Really?
honestly, these thoughts went through my head. I didn't really know what it would be like until he was born, and then I loved them both equally.
Nature kicks in.
So at first I wanted another girl. I didn't really I wasn't thinking I want to have a boy and a girl. So yeah, when I went for the 3rd, it was like, all right.
See, he understands he has a boy and a girl, right? And so do I. So the dynamics are totally different.
Yes.
These guys, he has 2 girls and he has 2 boys.
Yeah.
So the dynamic is always the same.
yeah.
We get
Right.
we get to see the different dynamics between boy and girl. And I understand when you're saying the little girl dad kind of relationship
The bond.
is special.
It is.
It's special.
Absolutely.
But boy and dad is special too.
Absolutely.
I just find you're gonna experience it later when they're a little bit older.
Well, you know what?
That-
To be
that-
honest
that-
with you, my son is extremely attached to me. I spend a lot of time with my kids. You mentioned earlier that I don't have the typical 9-to-5 job, right? So I have the luxury of spending a lot of time with my kids, which I am very grateful for. So my son, he's very attached to me. He looks up to me, and I do have that special bond with him as well. If I'm not in the house, he's that mommy's boy, of course.
Yeah.
He loves us both, but there's something about my relationship with my son. It's like this boy time.
Yeah.
You know,
it's different. It's different.
We watch boy movies together, and
Well, it's like the boys' club, man. It's there's 3 girls and 2 boys, and it's like, look, man, let's make a little clan over here. you know?
Right.
It's it's the alliance.
No, but the dynamics are different too. With my little girl, I want to hold her. I want to hold her. And I play different.
Yeah.
With him, I want to wrestle him.
Well, your son is 10.
He's
right?
10.
older, yeah.
The second I see him, like right now, he'll put his chest up and he's gonna confront
Right.
me
Oh
with his
yeah,
chest.
antagonizing.
And it means he knows I'll beat him up, but it's like test me.
Right.
You know,
Challenges.
the bravado, that male.
But you forgot the time when you were just as affectionate with him as you are with your daughter.
True.
I remember that about you and him too.
Absolutely,
I'm
but,
still there.
but it still wasn't the same.
no, there's a certain depth.
There's a little difference.
There's a little depth.
Well, we spoke
very
about
hard
it.
to
We
explain.
spoke about it on the last podcast. Both your kids were extremely attached to Alex, to your wife.
War.
Well,
War.
okay.
They still are.
Yeah.
They still are.
They still are.
But no, but just to touch on what George was saying about even as a baby, he was so much more close to Alex.
Yeah, because I was missing a lot.
Yeah.
I was missing a lot. And weekends sometimes, and weekdays sometimes, and weeknights sometimes. And so are we gonna ask Alex what he does?
Yeah. That was just
Well, that's the thing with when you mentioned that Alex has a unique situation. You do what we used to do.
Yeah.
We stopped when we had kids. You never stopped.
But-
and you
but-
kept going and had more kids than us.
But here's the thing: we never got into it professionally like
Not his
like,
level,
like,
no,
like
no,
Alex. And
of
just
course not.
for anyone listening or watching, Alex is a local musician, a very talented singer, songwriter. You're a keyboardist. I don't know if you play any other instruments. From a very, very young age, you've been on the music scene in Montreal.
Right.
So I mean, that obviously has. I don't want to say it's taken its toll, but I mean, from a very young age, going into this nightlife and into this scene, in your mind, was this what you've always wanted to do?
I mean, when I was younger, like before I ever started doing this, I always pictured myself being on stage, performing. I didn't know that I would get into this. Making it a profession. It was more of a dream when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Just being on stage and performing, and from being in a rock band and just performing in front of a bunch of people.
people cheering for you.
Yeah, I've been playing the keyboard since I was 5, and my parents always encouraged me. My dad, especially, he'd see me hitting milestones on the keyboard. I'd listen to a song. I was obsessed with Michael Jackson back then. I'd listen to his songs and try to pick them off. And my dad would encourage me by buying me a new instrument every year. If he saw that I would put the time in and practice, he'd get me a new keyboard, a bigger one, a better one, to
encourage you,
encourage me and to bring that excitement back again, right? So I continued. I also had a very normal childhood. I'd go out and play. I wasn't very disciplined when it came to practicing and all that. But in my teen years, I was kind of jamming with my dad at home. My dad always had an obsession with music. He always kind of wanted to be in music.
Did he play anything?
He didn't. He loves singing.
Oh, that's good.
He can sing in key.
You can jam with that.
So anyway, my dad wanted me to be a part of that, and he'd always encourage it. And I just grabbed the mic once. He pressed record. I think it was one of my favorite songs back then, Mitropano song. And I wasn't very good. Listening to those early recordings today, it's pretty bad. But my dad always told me that I was awesome.
Yeah.
And introduced me to some people and brought me to the Bouzoukia for the first time when I was 15. And they put me up on stage, and it kind of just fell into my lap. And I started working at the age of 15. It was I started getting gigs, and I continued. And I enjoyed it. I loved it. I loved making people dance. I loved doing what I did. And I continued, and I never had any plans of quitting or stopping.
And it's been almost nonstop. But just
Yeah.
to go back to what George, because we had a band and it was just fun for us, man. It was just we would find little gigs. I mean, at some point it became kind of consistent. We used to play at clubs and restaurants and everything. But it was just that, right?
Part-time job.
And you're right. I mean, once the responsibilities kicked in, the band was kind of like done. You know what I mean? Whereas you, when your wife met you, this is the lifestyle that you had already.
That's right. Yeah.
Was there ever a question of, we're starting a family now, you have to kind of rethink your profession, or did any of that conversation occur?
No, there was never a conversation like that. I guess mainly because I was bringing in money by doing what I'm doing, right? So this is my job. I mean, if I quit what I'm doing, then I'm going to have to start all over again. It's not really something.
But there's challenges there, right?
There are.
Usually a family, Friday comes around, and you're like, okay, let's plan the weekend, right? There's all these activities, and, our wives pretty much go crazy. Oh, let's do this and this and that, and enrolling the kids in all these activities. And in your reality, it's like, do whatever you have to do, but I'm gone. You know what I mean?
That's
Friday,
true.
Saturday, Sunday.
It's so true. Whenever there's an opening, they need to fill it.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I do have, a couple of Saturdays a year off, and we usually make those. we make those Saturdays when I'm off. We make them count.
Both of them.
Yeah, both of them. Yeah. So I mean, we
all 3 Saturdays.
I mean, I guess it's just we've gotten used to this.
Yeah.
This lifestyle.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
We'll do a dinner randomly on a Monday if we have to. Drop the kids off at my dad's or my mother-in-law's or whatever, or my sister-in-law's. We'll watch the kids and we'll go on a date. So we try to have date nights because I think it's important. Of
Healthy. Very healthy.
You gotta remember to be a couple. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It might not be consistent, I mean, it's not every weekend, but we do try to plan things, movie nights. And now we're pretty tired after 5 years of being parents. An exciting evening is like, you want to watch a movie tonight on Netflix?
Does she fall asleep?
We fall asleep.
6 minutes in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I honestly, I don't think I've seen one movie from beginning to end with Joanna. Not one.
Never. That's funny.
Never. She's probably gonna listen to this. And it's like, why are you lying to
You know-
everyone? But I think it's true. I don't think I'm exaggerating.
What's funny is that usually she'll fall asleep because she works, right? She works a 9 to 5 job.
Yeah.
Just don't make the same mistake as George and impersonate your wife on the show.
Did you do that?
You just did it right now.
Why are you lying?
Well, we all
sounds-
have the same wife voice when we
They
impersonate.
they all fall asleep. No wife watches a movie from beginning to end.
That's the thing. And just last week, she was like excited. Let's do a movie night. I was like, are you sure you want to do a movie? Because usually you fall asleep. No, I'm not gonna fall asleep tonight. We're gonna watch a movie. I'm like, maybe we could start watching a show. It's 40 minutes. You could probably make it through that. No, we're watching a movie. So anyway, we started watching a movie. An hour in, she fell asleep. So I didn't get mad. I mean, it's understandable. She's a hardworking mom.
The question is, do you have to wait for her to finish it?
No, I don't.
No, man.
No.
Why?
She
You do?
she tells me
I have to lie that I didn't watch it.
no. She
Just watch it again.
No, she tells me watch it without me, and then sometimes she's gonna continue the next day. I'm gonna have to sit through it a second time. So that's the. But what's funny is she falls asleep with almost every movie night in the last, I'd say, almost 2 years.
Oh, yeah.
But funnily enough, last month we decided to watch the latest Martin Scorsese movie,
Oh,
The
yeah.
Irishman, which is 3.5
3.5
hours long,
hours. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
She did not fall asleep.
Oh, wow.
We watched it in one sitting.
Is it that good?
I haven't watched it.
No, but I told you, it's long, but it carries well. Like the development, it keeps you going.
I don't know, guys. 3.5 hours is a long time.
I could have watched that movie for another 4 hours.
Really?
I loved
Yeah,
it.
but you're a movie buff.
I am.
watched it for the
I think
first,
Alex has seen every single movie.
I
out there.
saw The Irishman twice in the matter of a week.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, that's heavy.
yeah. Well, the thing
Alex
is,
knows
the,
his movies.
the
That's,
first
that's
time
called the benefits of working on weekends.
That's true. Yeah. Well, the first time I watched it, I was just too. It was so overwhelming to see all these actors one last time on screen together in this big Scorsese
Is it the last
movie.
time?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they're
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 80s,
80 years old.
this
so
was
I
the
don't-
retirement plan. Little jolt before.
It was their swan song, So basically, what I wanted to say is, I mean, she falls asleep to movies that are not even 2 hours long. But The Irishman, which is almost 4 hours, she was like this. We were both like riveted from start to end. So you know what? I was very happy about that. You can fall asleep to any other movie you want.
Tell me, what's the schedule like now? Your wife has a normal, regular schedule, 9 to 5.
Yeah.
You work mostly weekends now,
I
or
work on the weekends, yeah.
Okay, so during the week you're pretty much free during the days.
Yeah, I mean, I try to run my errands. You know, there are a lot of errands to run during the week. When my kids are in school, I try to get as much done as possible, and even housework and that sort of thing.
So you're always stuck watching them when they're sick and stuff. When they can't go to daycare.
Yeah. I don't mind. I'm okay with
No,
that.
yeah, I do it too.
I'm okay with that.
But that's an interesting balance, right? Like your wife goes to work and she knows, okay, look, at least my husband is home all day, so he's gonna take care of this or that, and you don't have that rush that a lot of couples have, where they both work 9 to 5, and then it's just a race after work. Pick up the kids, or go pick them up from grandma or wherever they are.
them
Right.
up.
Come home, do the dinner, and then after dinner,
There's also homework.
homework,
baths.
laundry, all that stuff.
Yeah.
At least she's coming home, and hopefully, the house chores are done. I don't want to put any pressure.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's what you do, but
I try. I do my best. I mean, I'm not as thorough as she is. If you ask her, she'll still come home
We
and
all have our
cook and
strengths.
clean. You can't take the cooking away from her. She loves doing that. I mean, I make some meals myself, and I enjoy it. But
omelets.
omelets are my go-to, and luckily, all 3 of my kids love eggs. So when we don't feel like cooking.
It's the
Full-blown
best,
meals,
It's the
it's-
best go-to meal.
Who
Incredible.
wants eggs? Everybody says
Edible
yes
egg.
all the time, and it's great.
I think I've had eggs at every hour in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Why not?
Yeah. But there's no stigma there.
Why does it need to be breakfast?
Have you seen that commercial where the brother's telling his sister, "You're eating eggs for dinner? That's weird." And she's like, "No, you're weird. Your girlfriend looks like mom." And you see the mother and the girlfriend side by side. I'm not weird. You're weird. Your girlfriend looks like mom. You haven't seen that?
No, I haven't seen
It's
it.
hilarious. I love that commercial.
That's so funny. Okay, so tell me about the weekends there. You come home really late.
Yeah, I get home around 4 a.m. and I can't usually go straight to bed.
Wait, you guys don't go to Mijotalon
No, I
for
don't.
pizza?
No,
Yeah,
I don't do that. Is it still open?
Yeah, it is.
We still do that, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I try to avoid that as much as possible.
Good job.
I can't fall asleep as soon as I get home. I'm kind of like I need to unwind for half an hour. I'll sit in front of the TV. And, I come home. I take my dog out. I sit in front of the TV. I'll put on a YouTube video and pass out.
So what time do the kids wake up?
The kids are usually up by 7 o'clock.
So that gives you a window of about 2.5, 3 hours.
Yeah, my wife lets me sleep in a little bit, but it doesn't. I mean,
You can't.
No.
Come on.
Even if she lets you, doesn't mean they will.
I mean, I'm still in bed sometimes, and I can hear my kids. When is Daddy waking up? Or my dad, or
They
my,
don't-
my
they
son
don't
will
run
come
in.
into the room. My son will come into the room. Papa,
They
wake
run
up.
in, right? They jump on you
Yeah.
to bother you, of course.
Yeah.
Just lock the door.
But honestly,
Do not disturb.
Yeah, but you know what happens? He misses out on that. And then they grow older and he loses
Nah,
it.
yeah, for
So let it happen. Don't take his advice.
yeah, it's a little bit scary though how well I can function on very low sleep.
Oh yeah.
I've always been pretty good with that. I mean, I've been doing the nightlife thing for 23 years, so I've always been okay with, 5 hours of sleep would be perfect for me.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've had to give up a lot of the sleeping in until 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And the stuff that I used to love
That's
doing.
teenage stuff.
God,
But-
those days are awesome.
Those days were awesome, but you know what? It was also a little depressing sometimes. You'd wake up and an hour later it was dark out in the winter.
In wintertime, yeah.
So there's something nice about waking up in the morning, even if you don't feel like getting up. There's something. I kind of feel like a normal person, I'm in the traffic bringing my kids to school, and I feel, hey, I'm a normal person now. I've never done this in my life.
Have you ever?
It's fun for you.
No, I don't know.
like a
I don't know
field
about.
trip.
I don't know about traffic being fun.
All the other parents are blasting. I'm gonna be late. I'm gonna be late. You're whistling.
Well, no, I'm not. I'm not going to say that I'm excited to be in traffic early in the morning, but I try to make the best of it. I'm in the car with my daughter, and we have conversations. We talk about things. We sing songs together. She loves singing, and she's actually really good at it.
Oh, yeah?
yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
she's better than me already.
Is she learning an instrument?
She wants to learn drums,
Nice.
Okay.
but we're gonna try to put her in piano at first. See what happens. Yeah.
That's
Just go with it, man. As long as she's into the music thing,
She
whatever she,
loves it.
wants, just give her.
Yeah.
She wants drums, give her drums. She might evolve into something else afterwards.
And she loves performing. It's what I find it fascinating how, I've been doing this for over 2 decades, and I still get nervous when I get on stage.
You don't.
Well, I mean, I don't feel as confident as my kids feel when they're in front of a large group of people. Like, I was performing in Ottawa.
Because they don't understand humiliation,
Right.
right? They don't. They don't.
Right.
Have, they don't know what that is.
Exactly.
They don't
And
understand
I-
other people judging them.
Yeah.
They don't see that.
And I envy that. I wish I could just turn everything off and be myself 100%.
Yeah, but Alex,
all the
this
time.
is not to
That's what every
like. Don't
artist
take
goes
take
through.
this the wrong way, but you sound perfect, man.
You mean like right now?
I was at Myth. No, seriously, man.
Thank you. I appreciate
I was
that.
at Mythos was it 2 weeks ago or last week? Was it last week?
It was last
week.
last Saturday. Yeah.
Man, you guys sound like
Thanks, man.
like a record.
Really?
Well, record. A recording.
Well, that's very nice of you to say.
Yeah.
I appreciate
No,
that.
I just had to get that in. And I've always been a fan. And you know what I want to know? I want to know what you're doing with your rock stuff.
Well, it was on hold for a little while because
Oh, yeah?
I was too busy having kids for like 5 years. Also, my buddies that are in my band, there were some tragedies in the family. My bassist dad passed away, so he needed some time. My guitarist had to fly back to Greece. He had some issues over there. Anyway, now we're back on.
Okay.
Things are moving along smoothly. We've got our songs. Everything is written.
Okay.
So it's basically just ironing out the details. And
So you have like a full, like, how many songs do you have?
we have about 37 songs, but only 7 or 8 are gonna make the album.
You serious?
Yeah, well, we've been working on it for like a decade.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of stuff.
And it's not easy. It's not easy.
It's
You know,
not easy
constantly
because it's
second
not
guessing
easy?
yourself
Because you're picky.
It's also I'm not used to doing this kind of thing. Like you put me in my element. I go to work and I play the Greek stuff at the clubs and at Mythos and whatever, and I feel comfortable doing that. I feel like I'm at home. I know what I'm supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to writing your own original material, at least in my case, I never know if it's good or not. I'll listen to it and I'll like the idea, and then I'm second guessing it, and then I'm changing things, and then when I change things, I'm not sure if it's better now or if it was better before, and then I'm like, you know what? Let's just scrap this song, write a new one entirely, and it's a constant battle. It's a constant battle. Plus, you have agreements, disagreements with your bandmates. Difference of opinions.
So you're a perfectionist.
Maybe I don't know.
You don't think that, because I understand that.
I
right?
overthink. That's
You
for sure.
overthink it.
I don't know if I call myself a perfectionist, but I definitely
it's
overthink.
analysis paralysis, right? Because
Right.
it's analyzed so much that new ideas are generated. So
Confuses
you're
you.
gonna have to go change it, right? But
Right.
don't you think that if you just write what you feel is right and what sounds good, and let the other people judge it, right?
Yeah.
You've made people hear your stuff, and everybody said that it's good. No, I like this. I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
So why don't you just test it out?
Well, you've heard some stuff.
I love the stuff.
Yeah.
And
Thank
you play around with different rhythms.
Yeah.
Right? Greek rhythms with some rock, heavy
Right.
rock, metal,
Yeah.
progressive metal. There's a lot of lines in there. There's a lot of riffs.
Yeah. There's a lot of influences in
It's
there.
definitely interesting.
I can't even really describe it as a specific genre anymore. I don't really know what it is anymore.
That's what's awesome about it.
Right. And what you're saying about, feeling whether the song feels right or not, it took me a long time to really understand that. Overthinking is never a good thing. And I think that now myself and my bandmates we're all in a really good place right now. We're kind of, we just put an idea out there and it's like, okay, this is what it is. Let's work on this. And
Yeah.
we finish it. We complete the song. If we like it, we keep it. But we're not going to sit there and get stuck on one section anymore and dwell on it. And, there were moments where we'd have one small little part, like a transition from a verse to a chorus that we didn't like. So we'd sit there and loop that one bar and try different things. And after 2 hours of looping one section, you don't know what's good anymore. You don't know what sounds good anymore, right?
Your ears are tired.
So there would be moments where we'd be like, after 2 hours, we'd be like, oh my God, this is great. This is perfect. Let's keep this. And then we'd play it in context, and nothing made sense. It just didn't make sense. It was just like taking a random part and just pasting it in there, and it didn't flow. So I think that we basically, in the last almost decade, we've learned more or less, at least for what we want to do, we've learned how to write songs a little bit better.
Yeah.
We really didn't know what the hell we were doing. I mean, the ideas were always there.
So let's just to stay on topic. What do your kids think about the album?
My kids, everything I play for them is awesome to them, you know, to my son specifically. Everything I play for him is like, I love this. And he asks me to play him demos, incomplete songs, you know, like I'll write a verse and I'll record it. And then I'll just listen to it in the car for myself so I can see if I can develop some new ideas. And then my son will get stuck on that. And he'll be like, I want to hear Baba's song. I want to hear Baba's song. And then that becomes his song for a month.
Like a 40-second.
And then,
awesome.
and then it's
awesome.
flattering. It's great, but it drives me bananas because I'm listening to like one small idea that I came up with that I don't necessarily really like anymore.
Yeah.
And my son is obsessed with it. I still have to play him old ideas that I've canned that are not going to make the album. And he's like, I want that song with the guitar in the beginning, you know? So, yeah, it's great. I mean,
It's a good way for you not to forget about your material.
my daughter is a little more honest. My older daughter, you know, she tries to get analytical about my my material. She'll be like, "I like the beginning part, but then it becomes too loud. I don't like the loud part."
That's funny. Yeah, that's
So she's already a little critic, you know.
My son is honest too.
Yeah, my little one doesn't want to hear any of my songs. If I put my music, she's like, "No, Baba." So she wants her 5 Little Ducks and her, you know, Coco Melon videos
And Baby Shark.
and baby. Oh my God, Baby Shark.
My daughter started singing this gummy bear thing. I don't know. Have you heard it?
Yes.
Is this a new one?
I'm forgetting
Can
the
you,
melody.
can you sing it a little?
No, man, I forget. Something. I'm a gummy bear. I think it's just that. I'm a gummy bear. I'm a gummy bear. I'm a gummy bear. It just keeps going.
It sounds like a Barbie girl.
I'm a Barbie girl in the Barbie world.
I don't know, man. I go, where'd you hear that? She
Life
goes,
in
oh, at
plastic, it's
school.
fantastic.
No, I'm a
Guys,
gummy bear.
There's thousands. There's millions of videos. There's millions of videos
Yeah.
of kids singing, of kids doing renditions, of parents singing with kids. There's Maria watches
I'm sick
Wendy. Is it when you guys watch Wendy?
I'm sick of watching people's home videos, man.
Yeah, home videos.
I
Wendy.
can't take it.
I refuse to play them.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah, I just subscribed to Disney Plus.
Isn't it
last
amazing?
month.
Isn't it
It's
amazing?
great. I love it.
Yeah,
I think I'm enjoying it more than my kids are.
Oh, I'm
Mandalorian.
definitely.
Mandalorian.
I haven't seen it, man. I've fallen
Mandalorian.
asleep 3 times.
Yeah, I'm halfway through. I'm enjoying it very much.
Which one?
The first episode. I haven't gone through it 3 times. I've tried.
That's really good.
I heard it's.
Yeah.
I heard it's a great series.
You haven't seen it?
No, I'm not.
It's really good.
I'm not a member yet.
It's really good.
Subscribe. It's good for the kids too, though.
I'm not a huge Star Wars guy, but I'm enjoying the show.
Nice.
My kids actually like it. My daughter loves it. She loves seeing Baby Yoda. It's like this epidemic. The Baby
Apparently,
Yoda.
it's the cutest thing ever made.
It's adorable, but now my daughter wants a Baby Yoda toy, right? So the other day she's like, I want a Baby Yoda toy. So I was curious. I'm like, all right, let me Google this. A Baby Yoda toy. Disney store, right?
$4
The Disney
billion.
store. The Disney store. A Baby Yoda toy. It's about this big. $200.
Come on.
Yeah. There's no way I'm getting
For a
it.
dog.
I'm like, is there a plush version?
It's not even the $200. It's out of principle.
Yeah.
You're not gonna pay $200 for a Baby Yoda
It's insane.
ever. You know, never.
Yeah. You forbid them to do it. I don't care. It's your money. Don't do it.
But that's what it is, though. Eh? All these movies that come out, it's not just the movie. It's all that side
merchandise.
business, all the merch, all the. It's
That's
This
fine,
is-
man. Capitalism is a good thing.
Star Wars is like the epitome of freaking branding, man.
Well, that's what it is.
The
They
most sold brand of all time.
they want to sell toys, right?
Yeah, and they've done plenty of that.
Yeah.
Billions and billions.
So yeah, I subscribe to Disney Plus, and you know, sometimes it's frustrating because my kids want to watch these ridiculous home videos of other people's kids.
How many
Yeah.
TVs do you have?
I have one.
How does one TV work with 3 kids and 2 adults?
Well,
the iPad.
Scheduling.
The iPad comes in the formula.
iPads and phones, right?
no, well, not really. My daughter uses the iPad sometimes.
Okay.
We don't allow it on the weekdays at all. It's like more like 30 minutes before bed type of thing. But I mean, we have a pretty big TV, and the living room and the kitchen is all, you know, it's one big room. So we just, you know, the kids basically take over the TV during the day, and
But do they all like the same things?
sometimes,
Because I'm trying to find a way to split the screen.
yeah, sometimes they often fight.
yeah.
But you could no, they don't have that screen splitting thing.
I don't know. Do they?
You can't do that without without earphones. How are you gonna
No,
listen
no,
to
the
different shows?
image splitting. They have that,
Okay,
no?
what are you gonna listen to 2 shows at the same time?
Oh, you mean the audio?
It's important.
All right, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, there have been moments where my kids are bickering about who's gonna watch what. So I get desperate. I can't reason with them sometimes. They scream and they fight over nothing. So
Have you ever thought of breaking the TV in 4 million pieces?
I not recently because I just bought a new one, and I love it. So I'm never gonna think about breaking my
Well,
TV.
We have one TV too, and they got 1 episode each before they brush their teeth. And if we're feeling nice, we let them watch one more thing that they pick together, and they go to sleep. So it's 20 minutes, 20 minutes.
Not
brush
bad,
your
not
teeth.
bad.
That's good. There's structure there.
We got 2. We have one in the kitchen, which is a small one. I usually watch my news, and they put Treehouse TV or whatever the hell it is. And that TV is always on.
Yeah,
but they
you
never
guys
watch.
use it like a background music, like a
yeah,
radio.
yeah. And the other one is the basement, which we rarely even come down here. We don't. We used to come down here with my, with Emma to watch Netflix, or now with Disney Plus. But she forget, like they're not into.
interested,
Yeah, but and this we said in the last episode. The TV, if I change the channel, they're not watching. They're not stuck in front of the TV watching.
They want the
They're
background
not
noise.
consuming it. But yeah, if I change the channel, or if I turn it off, what are you doing? I'm like, but you're not watching. You know,
Somehow they're still following.
they need Peppa Pig playing in the.
Peppa Pig. There's another one. My little one is obsessed with Peppa Pig. Yeah. Actually, you know what? In the last couple of weeks, Peppa Pig
Give me some volume on this.
in your ears.
I hear Chris perfectly fine.
Peppa Pig is actually the one program that all 3 of them seem to be enjoying right now. So it's kind of like
Let me just say something. I watch Peppa Pig with them. I enjoy it. It's hilarious. It's hilarious.
I haven't paid attention to it
Hilarious.
that much.
It's very proper. It's
it's
very proper.
hilarious.
It's good. It's good.
I watch it in
but
Greek.
it's decent humor. It's funny. It's great. It's funny. It's funny. The fat father. It's hilarious.
Right? Yeah, I saw. There was a scene
It's
where
like a cute Homer.
there was a scene where the daughter Peppa, right? Peppa was calling her daddy fat, and I was like, "What are you guys watching? You shouldn't be watching this." My kids is gonna start telling me that I'm fat, right?
Yeah.
Oh, they already tell me.
It doesn't matter.
And I get slaps on the belly.
I think.
I think we all get.
I think
slaps
in
on
North
the belly.
America we all need to hear a little bit of "Hey, you're fat."
Yeah, that's
You need a little
I
wake
don't
up
know.
call sometimes.
My daughter she was, how come you're not like like granddad? My wife's father's ripped. Like he's ripped.
He's like,
wow.
he's
yeah.
like, he's like Stallone in Rocky 4.
Wait a minute. Your daughter is asking you why you don't look like her grandfather.
He's Stallone in Rocky 4 in the
Yeah.
60s.
It's like how come Papu doesn't have a belly?
Well, good for Papu.
Man, the guy puts me to shame, man. I mean, and I'm proud to say that. I don't mind. It's just that, and we were saying this last episode where, we've reached that point where the age that they're at, you just want to show the example, right? And it's so difficult, man. Like I know that I'm not, my wife grew up in an environment where her dad was just training. It was like this consistency, it was like robotic almost, right? And that's how she grew up in. And my daughters are growing up in an environment where, fuck, man, it's like the complete opposite.
Yeah.
It's the complete opposite.
For me, it's a little inconsistent. I mean, I go through my binges and then I get into my healthy mode. And I started going to the gym consistently every day about a year and a half ago. And I got into this routine. I was, training in the morning, running at night. And, my daughter, my eldest, she was like, "Oh, Baba, you're exercising. That's really good. It's important, right? Because we've taught her that exercise and eating healthy is important, right?" So I was kind of setting a good example. And now, whenever I try to eat something that's not very healthy, she calls me on it. She's like, "Hey, Baba, you can't eat that. You're gonna get fat."
so direct.
Yes, yes.
No filter.
No
Zero
filter. Absolutely.
It's just a reminder, man.
Right. So, but now I'm a little bit more. I try not to indulge in bad foods in front of them because I've set an example of a healthy lifestyle, and then I'm going back on it. Right.
You wait until they go to sleep.
Pretty much.
Kathy, are the kids sleeping? All right.
Halloween,
it's
Halloween
mine.
candy.
Oh, they're sleeping.
I'm gonna go to the drive-thru. You need anything? You got to put some guilt on the wife. Do you want anything? I'm going for you.
I know you want a Big Mac.
I'll just pick up a Big Mac on it, just like that. You know. That's so funny.
Discipline is hard with food, man.
It's
totally
the
get
struggle.
you.
It's the real struggle.
It's the eternal struggle.
Yeah.
For you mean, or for your kids?
For me.
Yeah.
For me, for my wife, for you guys, for everybody I know.
Yeah.
Everybody
If only
I know.
losing weight was as
Easy as gaining
easy
it.
and quick as gaining it.
It wouldn't be an issue.
Guys, I've said it. The best superhero power is eating and not gaining weight.
It's better than being able to
Imagine that's my superhero power.
I used to have that, man, when I was like 16.
Yeah, for 4 years.
Yeah.
But think about it. You can eat whatever you want and always look. The more you eat, the worse you eat, the better you look.
You know what? I know many people that somehow, friends of mine who are 40 years old, are like a friend of mine. He eats garbage. It's really bad, and he's got a 6-pack. How do you do this?
Yeah, you could be sick inside too.
I know. I'm not.
We don't
You
care,
might-
man. We don't care. We care about the look.
Yeah, that's the first measuring stick. Yeah, absolutely. That's what drives us to go do it. It ain't because of what the doctor said. It's because of what the girl said.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
Sadly,
Let's go back to the nightlife. Your kids are obviously at an age where they understand now. Like, okay, daddy's leaving. It's
Yeah.
nighttime. This is what he does.
Yeah.
They're coping with it, I guess. Or
You know-
what time?
It's
do you,
their normal, right?
yeah, pretty much. I mean, they know that daddy is a singer. Daddy is a performer. And I go to work, and before I go to work, my kids usually ask me, "You're gonna go sing for people? Or
Yeah,
be dancing?
yeah.
Can I come?"
Yeah.
They want to be there too because they've experienced it.
fun.
I've taken them to festivals, the Ottawa Fest, which I play every year. My kids are there; they experience it, so they love it. They've seen videos of me performing because their grandfather, my dad, likes to constantly play videos of me singing when I'm around. It's my pet peeve. I can't stand looking at myself.
$1 million question, Alex.
Yeah.
Opportunity comes.
Yeah.
You complete the album. Everything is ready to go.
Right.
You have to, I don't know, leave for 3 months. How do you do that?
3 months.
3 months, 4 months, 5 months, whatever.
It'll be tough. It would be tough. If it's a good opportunity, I'd like to think that I would take it. But I mean, I'll be honest. I bring my kids to school, and 2 hours later, I'm missing them so much. I need to see them again. I can't wait to pick them up.
Yeah.
Even though I know I'm going to pick them up, and they're going to start arguing and bickering and yelling, and they're going to piss me off. I can't live without it. I love it. I embrace that chaos.
because you went through that, eh? At some point, you were playing with.
I left. I did. Yeah, I went to Toronto to do a few shows. So I left for about 2 weeks, and I left 2 days after my son was born.
Ooh,
So,
that must have been tough for you.
Ouch. I would never do that again.
Yeah,
But now that I'm thinking, if the opportunity ever came, I don't know. That's why I'm asking the question, because think about it. Let's say you have to go for 2 months, maybe 3 months, maybe a year, whatever it is. That's a hard decision.
it's a very
It's
tough
such a hard
decision,
decision.
and
There's only one way you decide that. It's the size of the check.
that's pretty much. Yeah, I mean,
Well, at the beginning, when you're gonna go do that, the size of the check is very, very small.
Yeah.
So you
It
gotta
might not
think- you
even
gotta-
exist.
Exactly. It's risk reward. The analysis is on risk reward. Am I risking for the big reward?
I would like to think that I would, be able to take the opportunity, the potential opportunity.
Yeah.
I'd be lying if I told you that, yes, I would do it, because I don't know. I don't know how I'd be able to deal with it. Maybe I'd, take off, and 2 weeks down the line, I'd get homesick and miss my kids too much and just say, screw it.
Yeah,
I want to
yeah,
go
yeah.
home. I can't really tell you. I can't really answer that question unless I've experienced it. In my mind, I'd like to think that I could deal with that. I could deal with a situation like that. But I don't want to be away from my kids, if I'm being honest, at all.
Let's say your kids grow up now, okay, and they want to take a similar path, whether it's music, dance, the artistic world. Let's say, would you be okay with that as a dad?
Like, you mean put the studies aside, kind of thing?
Well, because you mentioned something, and it's
Put
interesting.
financial stability.
I just want to get back to that, because not everybody is lucky as you to have a dad. Because think about it, every parent wants their kid to learn an instrument,
Yeah.
but no parent really wants their kid to go into the profession, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, learn the instrument, but You know, you better go to school.
I think that I would definitely encourage my kids to pick up an instrument because it's a good thing, right? To be able to play an instrument. If they decided to do what I do, I think I'd be terrified.
You would be.
I think so.
Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Nightlife.
Yeah, but the thing is, I mean, you've experienced the nightlife. I mean, you look at your example. You've turned out okay. You have a family. You're happy. You
Yeah,
have kids.
No. I don't think you're missing the point.
The thing
it's
is-
what he's seen.
It's beyond that.
It's
too.
not
about him.
It's
Hold on.
mostly what I've seen, and it's also I
But
think
there's also the part where when you're busy with this, let's say they become musicians or whatever, they pick up an instrument and become good at it and hit the scene. And let's say it's even a local scene. You're making pretty good money. So you're gonna give up the books. What
Yeah,
happens after that?
I don't think I would ever encourage that. I think I would reinforce the
No, but-
schooling for sure.
Yeah.
You would.
Yeah,
It's
Even though
but
your dad kind of like
I would
encouraged
I would
you.
worry
My-
about them dropping the books more than anything.
Yeah,
In the process of all that, dropping the books.
my dad
That would worry
encouraged me, yes, but he also, he also tried his best to,
Okay.
keep me in school and.
Were your parents disappointed when you put an end to that and you focused on the music?
In a sense, I guess they were, yeah. But my dad was also very proud and excited about me being,
Yeah.
doing something that I guess he always dreamt of doing himself.
Yeah.
Going back to what you said about, I guess I turned out okay after over 2 decades of doing it. I think that part of it is also me just being lucky. I've been with the same woman now for over 10 years. She's brought a balance to me, and she's she keeps me stable and all that.
Yep.
And I don't think that I could do a lot of what I've achieved up until now without her. I think I could have gone the other way entirely, possibly. I'd like to think that I'm smart enough to not, take the wrong path in life, but. It's terrifying. I mean, when you're thinking about your own kids and the possibilities and what's going on out there, and you don't know how things are going to be down
That's
the line.
why I asked you the question. It's like that's a tough one too.
Yeah,
because
look how much things have changed already. I mean, social media alone has, it's exposing people and people's private lives, and you have.
I like to believe that good values you pull you back in line.
Yeah.
No,
yeah,
but you know what it is? It's like I always say this, and I believe this, and this is how I raise my kids. I believe in a strong foundation. You need the foundation. You need the solid concrete foundation. But I believe you need to teach them how to fly as well. They need wings. They got to develop their wings.
Yeah, I
So
agree.
if you think about it, music is wings. It's go fly.
Absolutely.
Don't think too much. Go fly. So it's on that realm. And then the foundation is go to school. Make sure you have a plan B.
Right.
And sometimes I kind of did. I still do both.
Right.
Right. So
I think you're actually a better example than I am because you're a pretty successful guy. I mean, you have your day job and you're a hardworking person. You're ambitious, and you still do what you love. You still perform. You're still a musician. Just as much as I am. So I think you're an even better example than I am in this situation.
No, but what I'm saying is that that's how it was in my family. Like my dad was like, "You learn, you do this, go play. Hey, it's good." He encouraged me, but at the same time, it was like,
He laid down the law.
yeah, the foundation is important.
It is. It absolutely is.
And I'm thinking myself, well, my kids are not really musically inclined. I tried with my son. He was good at the drums at the beginning, but I had to force him to go to lessons. That's when I stopped, right?
Well, I think that's also got to do with his age a little bit.
Yeah, he might go back to it. But I remember when I was learning guitar and I was playing, my parents had to stop me. It's like, stop playing. It's like, you got to go to bed. Stop playing. So they didn't have to make sure I play. With Gerasimo, it was...
You have to
Man,
motivate him.
yeah, it's like we have a lesson tomorrow.
Well,
did you practice? No. Well, why not?
Yeah,
So-
well, I was exactly like your son.
You were
Never practiced.
really.
Yeah, I most of my practice was on stage.
So,
I mean,
so there's still hope.
I've had moments where I was.
No, but you continued playing.
Yes, I mean, I've had moments where I was. You know what? I would play a lot when I was home, but it wasn't really structured practice. It wasn't. I wasn't doing things the way I should have been doing things. Working on exercises or working on a certain technique that I need to master. It was mostly just like I want to play my favorite song now. Let me learn it, right?
Yeah, but you were also
So
a kid. You were winging it.
I
but
would
that
I
developed-
would learn my song, the song that I wanted to play. I'd learn the chords, I'd learn the melody, but I wasn't really focusing on proper, technique, dynamics and
Metronome.
exactly. So it was more about having fun for me. So I was not very disciplined, honestly.
Okay.
But it has to be fun. If it's not fun for his son, why would he pick it up?
Yeah.
You get it?
Right.
Because
if you don't view it as fun at this age, you don't do it.
and it's exactly that.
My
because
parents had to pry me away too. I had a pair of drumsticks and I put a chair in front of me and I would smack it like
Right.
That was how I practiced.
like you,
They had to stop me,
Yeah.
like him.
Yeah.
It wasn't a question because
Yeah.
it was fun.
you know what it is in a way. I don't know if I'm going to express it right, but it's always fun. And Yerasmo, he was playing, and it was fun. Hey, go play the song, and it was fun. The second he needed to go to the next level, which needed a little discipline, it wasn't as fun. He didn't want it as much.
Yeah,
the
but-
discipline was harder than getting him through. He couldn't get through the exercises to go to the fun part. You know what I'm saying?
That's so me.
The second it got to the point where it's now I need discipline, the fun is no longer there.
That's exactly me,
That's
man.
where he quit.
That's exactly how I am.
You know, for me, it was like the fun was still up here, so the discipline it came, and then obviously I got to a point where it wasn't like I didn't want to.
discipline comes with ambition. Ambition comes with development, man.
Yeah.
So you have
Yeah.
to. Maybe he just needs more time to have more fun with it. He's gonna develop some chops. There's a
Oh,
couple
he has
of
to be
key
re-exposed
techniques.
to it. But you know what? Like look at
but
Salatelli's kid, right? John's kid.
It
Right.
usually happens with something you cling on to, like a certain technique or a certain thing you do that you keep redoing. And you know you got good
Yeah.
at that. It drives you to do something else good.
But
too.
there is hope because John's kid, he would play the piano. I would go over his house and the kid would be playing piano, and then he got sick of it. He didn't want to play the piano anymore, so he stopped music altogether. And then 3-4 years later, the kid picks up a guitar, and 8 months later,
Yeah,
he's
the kid's
ripping.
amazing.
He's ripping.
Yeah.
He's
And he practices.
Something clicked. He got re-exposed to something. He got triggered. Something just changed the whole dynamic. Right?
I think it's like a vision that
It's
unlocks
something.
something.
We
in
don't know
your
what it
brain.
is, but it's something.
What
Something
helped
unlocks your
me
brain.
as far as being able to get into shape and be disciplined about practice was actually working. Like I started working, right? So as soon as I started working
You have
and I
no
was getting
choice.
paid to do what I do, I
Yeah.
said to myself, okay, I think it's time I start actually taking this seriously and
Yeah.
learning things properly. And that's what helped me. And
You,
still,
you became competitive about it
yeah, I had to.
Yeah.
I had to. It kind of just shot me into
because you
shape.
wanted to continue doing it.
Exactly.
And you wanted to continue doing it because you kept on doing it because you loved it. You loved it because it was fun. It goes back to fun.
Yeah, I'd say now I'm probably more disciplined than I've ever been. Like if I want to actually learn something,
That's amazing.
I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna think about things and structure. And I mean, I also have the luxury of having
No one at
YouTube
home.
videos.
Okay,
You know,
yeah.
I mean, taking lessons these days is so much more fun.
for anything, man.
Interactive
YouTube
with it,
has
yeah.
changed everything.
Everything.
Definitely, there's this guy. I've been playing guitar a lot lately, and there's this guy, this YouTube channel that I've been following, and the way he actually teaches technique, I've never seen anything like this. It's fun. You want to do it. You look forward to it. How is this guy doing this?
Yeah.
Why am I looking forward to playing the same exercise for an hour with a metronome? It doesn't make any sense. At my age, I've been playing music for 23 years. I should hate that crap, right?
Yeah.
But for some reason, this guy is making it fun. It's the way he's, the way
That's a
he's
good
teaching.
teacher.
Because
That's a good
he's
teacher.
also making you love to play something else you probably love other than piano,
Yeah.
right? You love the guitar.
Right. Yeah.
He's teaching you how to be good at guitar. You love guitar. It's all connected.
Right.
Goes back to what you like.
I'm always trying to find ways to, refresh that feeling, that novelty, that
Find
early.
that spark.
Yeah.
When do
See,
you practice? During the week when no one's home?
I try to practice a little during the day when no one's home, when I'm not, running errands all day. But it's mostly cutting into sleep time after the kids have gone to bed. I have to make that sacrifice. Kids go to sleep, and I sacrifice a little bit of sleep to either practice or, work on material that I need to work on when I'm preparing for work.
Yeah.
Programming, recording, writing.
Yeah.
It's usually at night. It's also the time that I'm the most inspired for some reason, even though I'm always fatigued. I haven't slept in 5 years, but but the nighttime is still my time. It's the time where I think about things and I get inspired and I just get lost into what I love.
How much of a difference do you think it makes the fact that your wife has been supportive?
Oh, it just makes all the difference in the world. I mean,
It makes it all possible.
absolutely.
Has she ever pushed you to the point where it's like, okay, look, you got to do this. This is you. This is, actually pushing you even further into this career, into this practice.
She does. She encourages me and she pushes me, but she won't push. She won't push too hard to the point where I'm getting a little defensive, because I can get a little defensive sometimes if you're, up my ass all the time about something. But no, she's great. She's very supportive, and she'll remind me. If I neglect something, like, whatever happened to that song you started writing? Why didn't you ever finish it? Or what's going on with this? Why aren't you working on this anymore? And she kind of reminds me and snaps me back into reality. Like, hey, she's right. I kind of neglected this. But, I mean, most of the time now, it's like we're always thinking about the kids and what we're going to do with the kids and preparing things for the kids. And then whenever we get a moment to actually think about anything that doesn't have to do with the kids and, preparing lunches or doing homework and that sort of thing, it's, usually we try to give that time to each other these days. So before I had kids, it was more, pushing me to do my music thing. But now it's like whenever she remembers, it's like there's too much to think about.
Man. There's so many things to preoccupy her.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to think of a million and
What
one
song?
thing.
Go to the grocery store. We got a whole list here. What are you talking about?
We're missing broccoli. What are you talking about?
And we like to after the kids go to sleep, we like to sit on the couch or lie in bed and just talk a little bit.
Yeah, you
just
say
to have,
we need string cheese, milk.
sometimes we just talk about nothing. It's just talk.
Yeah.
And it's relaxing. We don't have to.
So you guys get into the conversation, because look, there's a lot of couples that don't talk. I know couples that don't talk. After 10 years of marriage, people don't talk. I'm just very serious.
Yeah.
The email.
People avoid they avoid talking to each other because there's nothing else to say. But I don't feel like that, because with my wife, we always talk, and I have a feeling that you guys are the same way with Kathy.
Yeah. I mean, sure, we have our moments where we, it's happened where we're just too tired, and it's just like, let's put on a movie, and we don't say much.
Yeah.
But no, we still talk. We still try to keep things.
Does she write lyrics for you?
No, she's written some stuff for me in the past. She loves writing.
Yeah.
She's pretty good at that. I don't really do lyrics. I mean, I can get inspired about a certain theme. I can put things on paper about, I want to talk about this, or I want to channel this. But as far as structuring lyrics, no, I don't do that. I actually have in my original project, my guitar player is the guy who writes lyrics, and he's really good. So I wouldn't even try to challenge that. So what we do basically is we talk about stuff. We have like this band chat on WhatsApp, and we just brainstorm ideas. And I can get inspired by anything. Like I can watch an episode of The Mandalorian, and the way a scene was filmed, in a specific way can trigger this idea for a song somehow, or the theme of the episode might inspire me for something. And then I just shoot ideas into the chat room, and my lyricist, he's insanely talented. Yeah. He's just like, okay, that's good. And then 20 minutes later, he's like, all right, here's a song. It's just like that. He just farts songs out. It's ridiculous.
And he writes great riffs.
Yeah.
Great riffs.
Yeah. And, sometimes...
And Billy plays a mean bass.
Oh, yeah. Billy plays a mean guitar as well, but
he does?
we use him as a bassist for the band.
Is he a guitar player or a bass player?
He started off as a guitar player. But he's a bassist.
Doesn't everybody start as a guitar player?
And when he plays guitar, he's very rhythmic now. Not because he's become a bass player. He's been a bass player for the last, 11, 12 plus years.
Okay.
When he plays guitar, it's always groovy. It's always rhythmic and percussive and, the bass player thing.
These guys, let me ask you something. I mean, you're making a living out of, music.
Yeah.
Are they doing the same thing?
Nope.
No.
They're not.
So for them, it's more of a hobby now. Let's get together,
Yeah,
jam,
absolutely.
let's make an album. They're not making.
I think that they actually prefer it that way.
Yeah.
They don't have the stigma of the performing live and having that repetitive thing. I mean, I enjoy it. I love it. But the stuff that I'm writing has absolutely nothing to do with the stuff that I do professionally.
They perform, yeah.
So a part of me, I have an artistic need, I guess, to do something that's not that.
When can we expect to see a live show with the new material, man? You got to commit right now.
Are we supposed to be talking about our kids?
Well, it's part of it.
Well, are you bringing your kids to that show that he's talking about?
As long as
No, seriously, when can we expect a show? Like, honestly.
a show.
Well,
I don't know about a show.
not?
I don't know if there's really an audience for what we're doing here. At least the people that
Do it for the
support
people
me.
that know you personally.
The
man.
people that know me and support me, I don't know that most of them would really enjoy what I'm doing originally.
Okay.
Doesn't mean they don't want to hear you play it.
Well,
I think they're just gonna come because it's you and they want to support you. So I think 200 people you can.
Yeah, it's not interesting to him. 200
He
people.
wants the Bell Center.
no, that's not. I'm not looking for that kind
That's
of
like
thing.
on a dead Sunday.
I'm not looking for that kind of thing at all. I don't need. I'm not gonna be this. This pretentious artist with a chip on his shoulder.
Do you have a
who wants
complete band?
We don't have a drummer. And the reason for that right now is just because we've found
Because you have a
we've
keyboard?
found a groove. The three of us just have this chemistry that can't really. I think that bringing in another band member at this point in time would maybe ruin the dynamic. So basically, I just program drums for now, and we write that way. And when it comes to the finals, we're obviously going to hire a professional drummer to cut the tracks.
Yeah.
But for now, what we've been doing has been working, and a lot of it is even because we don't have time to get together and jam all the time. We do a lot of this stuff on our own and record and send stuff to each other online, and we write that way too. And it's actually been surprisingly really working out well for us.
Where do you record? You have a studio at home?
I don't know if you can call it a studio. I have a setup. It's I've got a little corner.
Bro, as long as it makes that, it does the job.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I have.
He has all the equipment.
I mean, I have enough equipment to do what I need, right? I have a bunch of guitar amp simulators and recording program with a decent enough PC.
Yeah.
And I do my programming and my writing and all that stuff at home. I can record vocal tracks. It's convenient. It's convenient enough for me to be able to do that right now. But when it comes to actually recording the finals, we're going to go to a studio, a real studio, not my living room.
So there's no timeline. He doesn't want to commit.
Well, you know what? Deadlines are actually good because they whip
push you, man, yeah.
whip you into shape. You know. Recently, well, not that recently, we completed a song and I sent it to a mutual friend of ours, Peter Braculia in Greece.
Yeah, yep.
And I sent it to him, and he's a workhorse, so he automatically put the pressure on me. He's like, "All right, I'm giving you a deadline. We're recording drums next week. I want you to finish the ending of the song by next week, and get it done. Let's get it recorded." So there was a lot of pressure, you know. So I got together with the guys. I'm like, "Guys, we got to finish the song." You know, he wants us to end the song because there's literally a scheduled drum session for this song. And we did it. We sent it to him, and he took it to a studio in Athens and got a professional drummer to record the parts for us. And
nice.
so we have one song with
So one song complete.
yeah.
So it sounds like you just.
But
need a
even
manager.
we've touched up that song a bit too since then. But
Gotta stop, Alex. You gotta stop, man.
You just got to put it out there, man.
Yeah.
Whatever happens, happens. I'm talking as if I've done it.
no, but honestly, that is a good mentality to have. Like, just put it out there.
Put it
you
out
know?
there.
And by the way, shout out to Peter, who actually sent us a message on Facebook Messenger. He's like, "Oh, I love your show, blah blah blah." The dad's there, and I'm like,
Oh, yeah?
yeah." I didn't tell him. I didn't tell him that we're gonna have
Peter,
you.
we're talking about. But
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Is he a dad?
Yeah,
He is.
So
Yes.
we have a fan in Greece. He's like,
Nice.
"Dude, I'm coming. I'm crashing your podcast." I'm like, "Yeah, just come,
He'd
man."
be great. Next
Yeah,
time he
man.
comes, you should have him on.
Absolutely.
It's so funny. Tell me a little bit. Where did you start playing?
My first job, you mean?
Yeah.
It was actually at La Mer.
The restaurant.
You remember? Yeah, the restaurant, La Mer. Yeah, that's right.
remember.
Yeah. That was in 1997.
Actually, no. Your debut was on Vaperi.
No, actually, no. That happened a couple of weeks after my debut at La Mer, which was, I remember the date. It was February 1st, 1997. I don't know why I remember, but that was the first time I ever performed in front of people.
Yeah.
It was with Vasily Galati. He actually got me started. He helped me. He pushed me. I have a lot, I have him to thank as well for encouraging me and pushing me. Because in all honesty, I know myself. I know how I was back then. I was a bit of a slacker, a procrastinator, and I think if I didn't have my dad and other people around me encouraging me and pushing me, I probably wouldn't have ended up doing this. I probably would have just, I don't know, been doing something else. Hopefully.
And then how did it evolve from there?
I was doing La Mer for a good year or so. Then I started doing other gigs. I started playing at weddings and baptisms and that sort of thing. My dad was kind of managing
He was your agent.
my early career. Pretty much. He was helping me out. He was getting me gigs. He was hustling for me, and I built a little bit of a name for myself in the Greek community, and I just stuck with it. And the gigs kept coming in, and I was doing clubs, a lot of the bouzouki nights in the late '90s. And then when Mr. Galanis offered me a job at Mythos, that was basically the beginning of Mythos, which was in late '99. And I was there for a very long time, still performing there.
There was a point where was it Sismo? Was
Yeah.
it?
I played at Sismos.
Yeah, I remember it was like the talk of the town. It created this divide, where there was this new club that came up, and it took the band from Mythos, and it created like this
A rivalry.
It wasn't a rivalry. It was.
It
Just,
was.
Yeah. Do you think it was a rivalry?
Full.
Well, I mean, it's a dog-eat-dog world out there, right? I mean, in the end, if somebody wants to open up their own venue and do what they got to do, I mean, in the end,
No, but that's fine because it left a gap at Mythos, and they had to find new artists, right? So there's this all new wave of other musicians that came along.
right? Yeah, actually, that is when I went into Mythos. It was actually after Peter left. For
That's
Mythos.
right.
He was there before me.
Yeah.
And he went to Sismos, and that's when I took over at Mythos. And then a year and a half after I was at Mythos, I ended up going to Sismos as well. And I stayed there for a year and a half. And then Peter and I both ended up back at Mythos. And those were some good times.
We were the last band at that club. We closed it down. That's
It was a different name.
It was Exodus.
Exodus.
Oh, at Opa?
It was
Exodus.
it was
After.
Opa first. Was it Opa first or Sismos?
It was.
It was
No.
Sismos?
First, then Opa.
Then Opa, and then Exodus.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
Yeah, man. We closed that shit down.
Opa was Corbis with Fula. No.
Yeah.
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 There was this other, the blonde girl, man. What was it?
Maria.
Maria.
Oh,
Yeah.
she had a beautiful voice. Yeah.
She was good, yeah.
Maria Teodora, you're talking
That's right. That's what.
Yeah, she's in Greece now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's been there a while.
What is she doing? Is she?
She's singing.
Is she still?
Yeah, she sings in the bouzouki. She's doing all right for herself,
She had
from
a
what
nice,
I've.
I remember she had a really nice voice.
Yeah,
Really
yeah.
natural voice. Effortless.
The Greek thing, the real
yeah,
Greek.
yeah, exactly. That thickness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They call it Chria.
Yeah, actually, we saw her, when was it, 3 years ago?
Is that right?
Yeah.
She stopped by Mythos, actually. She was in town, and we put her up on stage, and she sang.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
great, yeah.
Yeah, that was fun, man. That was fun.
So it was Opa after. I was
Yeah, it
confused.
was after Sismos, yeah.
It was after Sismos.
Yeah. Sismos were some really amazing times for me.
I partied there. Yeah.
Like,
The
for
we
first,
all partied there.
I
first
remember
couple years.
you guys partying there when I was performing, and it was great. Every
I
weekend was
remember
just
you let me play next to you once. I was smashed.
really.
Yeah, there was some.
Oh yeah, I think I remember that. That's right.
I started hitting him. I showed up like at 2 a.m, smashed.
I just loved it because it was walking distance to my house.
Walking distance to everything.
I was always the guy that was like, "Yeah, come up and play," and everybody else in the band would be like, "What the hell are you doing? Why are you inviting people up to play? Let's have some fun." Yeah.
That was so fun, man.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the family. And I just want to continue on what Chris was saying about your kids potentially wanting to pursue that as a career.
Scary thought.
But why though?
As far as what I do, the nightlife thing, I don't know. I can't really answer it.
I'm
I guess
just gonna say there's more than that dynamic to a musical career.
absolutely. Like
That's one path of many, man.
my daughter tells me that she wants to sing, and I'm like, yes, you're gonna be a Disney princess one day. Forget about the Skiladiga. You're gonna be a Disney princess. You're gonna sing in a Disney movie. That's what you're gonna do. You're gonna
Maybe
be a
she's
Broadway
gonna
singer.
sing the national anthems at the Bell Center.
I'm injecting that idea into her brain.
Yeah. Planting the seed.
Yeah.
This is the path.
And
Well, yeah, because music is not even local.
No.
Right? And with
That's right.
with technology and with the YouTubes and all that stuff, you could be discovered in your shower.
yeah, honestly, how many people have been discovered?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
On
So-
YouTube alone. There's
So
so
the chances of success are maybe higher.
yeah, I would say.
Well, the level of exposure is higher.
Yeah, which in turn will.
Well,
You still have to make the cut. And all
there's a
that.
much
Yeah.
bigger ocean of artists these days than there were back then.
Yeah.
Everybody's, I mean, you can record an album in your house these days. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm doing it, right?
It's all based on demand. If the demand's there, they'll need more musicians.
There's always going to be a demand for music.
Yeah. But it's still tough. It's still tough to get in there, to get into
But there's
that
a lot of
market.
people, and this is an interesting conversation we can have on how many people are actually entering the music world without knowing how to play an instrument.
Well,
More nowadays, for sure. There's
With
a big,
apps and just programming stuff
Right.
and just figuring things out.
Yeah, yeah.
well, there's a lot of AI stuff too, right? That
Yeah.
basically you can just hum an idea into your phone
And then it
can
develops
compose
it.
an entire.
That's it.
So there's a lot.
Are you serious? That
Yeah.
exists?
Oh,
Yeah.
guys, I mean, have you guys seen those deep fake videos on YouTube?
No.
You guys know what that is?
No.
Where they'll basically take a clip from a movie and they'll replace the actor's face with another actor. So basically, the way this program works, it's free software. You can download it. Basically, you can take, like, say, for example, you take a movie like Taxi Driver, right? So the program will take that movie and analyze all the facial features of Robert De Niro, for example, and then you can tell it to put the facial features of that actor onto, I don't know, Jack Nicholson from The Shining.
Oh,
And then
wow.
Jack Nicholson will become De Niro.
The voice too?
And it looks, guys, it's really scary. It's,
I think I've seen that with a comedian, and the face kind of shifted to Al Pacino and Arnold Schwarzenegger.
That's right. That's right.
that's
There's
the
a lot
one.
of that going on.
Does the
Bill
voice
Hader
follow?
did that as well. Bill Hader was on
Got it.
on one of those. I think it was Jimmy Fallon or Jimmy
Yeah,
Kimmel.
yeah, I saw
and he
that.
got into an Arnold Schwarzenegger impersonation, and his voice just his face.
His face just shifted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was the first one I saw, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I was like, is he actually doing that with his face? I
Guys,
was
that was creepy.
very.
The first time I
Does
saw
the
that,
voice follow? Does the program like change the voice too?
At first, no, but now they are actually able to
So
do that as well.
He can say like the example you gave. De Niro would be saying Jack Nicholson's lines in The Shining with his face.
Yeah, and now they have another program. I think it's a separate program where it actually samples the voice as well. And
you need to experience it to get it, to see what the impact is.
It's
But
pretty scary,
It's
though.
scary. It's creepy.
yeah, it's
It's creepy.
It's creepy.
it is. It really is because it's very believable, and people have actually done some crazy stuff. Like there's a fake Obama speech where somebody was impersonating
incredible.
impersonating
Is that
Obama.
how they do like the Leia scene at the end of Rogue One?
Well, the tech for that is a lot more complex. There's a lot of money involved in that. It's not some free software, right? But I mean, the free software it's really impressive.
Imagine what you pay for.
It's crazy advanced. But who's that rapper kid, man, that became big without even a label? Is it Chance? Is it Chance the rapper, whatever his name is?
I'm not sure.
There's this rapper that became huge, a huge deal. He has no label. I think he put his stuff out on Spotify.
How long
or
ago?
2 years. Not even, I don't know, 3.
Really?
Whatever.
That recent?
I think so.
I remember this happening a long time ago.
Well, Bieber is the first
No, Bieber-
example of YouTube sensation.
Right.
Yeah, but he was discovered and they put him into a label and he went through
Doesn't
the whole
matter.
machine.
The point is the
He was
kid was
discovered on
pop.
YouTube.
He was
Yeah, but the other guy just refused the label. Goes, screw you. I don't care. I'm putting my own stuff out now. I think it was Chance the Rapper.
Is he still around?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you looking for him?
Yeah, I am. Hold on.
This is the wrong crowd.
This is
It
offensive.
is the wrong
Yeah,
one,
you,
man.
you asked the question to the wrong crowd.
No, but
or
because-
rapper. You're like,
No, because we're getting.
I like rap.
yeah.
No, I don't have a problem with rap. I just don't know much about the history.
No, but
of Chance.
but just going back to what you were saying, that nowadays you can just pick up and just do whatever you want on your own.
I actually like that. I think it's pretty cool that the people can actually choose an artist these days, right? It used to be the labels would decide who they thought was
Yeah, yeah,
appropriate
yeah.
and who would be able to sell records. And now you have so many success stories from YouTubers.
Yeah.
But Padelidi is another example of a guy
Yeah,
who was
yeah,
going on YouTube and he was just recording these low quality videos of him playing guitar and singing, and people loved him, and the record labels saw that and they said,
Yeah.
"Oh, we gotta promote this
And
guy
he
because
became top. He
so
became
he was
top.
chosen by the people, you know. So whether any of us love him or or not, I think it's pretty cool that the people chose him. You know, it wasn't this manipulation by the media telling you who to like, because he did it himself. He sold himself. He did it himself.
Yeah, so it says that
New opportunities.
He created mixtapes and stuff. In 2012, he won a Grammy.
Who?
Him, Chance the Rapper.
Chance the Rapper.
Chance the Rapper.
What a Grammy.
It became the first streaming only album to win a Grammy Award and peaked at number 8 on the Billboard 200. Yeah, I think he's the one. He just refused to sign up with the label.
Yeah, why
Yeah,
not?
good for him.
Yeah, good for him.
If he's still successful, then good for him. If he's nowhere to be found, then that was a mistake.
Yeah.
In the end, they're going to get
Like,
you
I
to
mean,
sign that.
what's the way to like the income now is hits on YouTube and shows.
I never
do shows.
understood
You
how
gotta
that
perform
works.
live. If you don't perform live now, you're not a big success.
No, not necessarily.
Well, you've lost the album sales.
I think the live thing is like, okay, it's an extra source of income.
So what's the primary?
The primary is the exposure, so it could be YouTube.
So YouTube
because album
advertising.
sales are different than what they
And
used
then
to
it could
be.
be
Right?
Album
downloads
sales are really not what they were.
It's not what it is.
Actually, musicians pretty much depend on their live performances to
Yeah,
make any kind of coin these days. Even some of the most successful bands in the world these days, other than the top 40 bands that make a killing, a little bit the more underground, like the rock bands, like like this band right here. They're the biggest metal band in the world right now, but they're still not going to be as big as somebody like Justin Bieber. They're not going to have a vast audience. So I've heard these guys speak in interviews, and I've read articles where they talk about how they can barely pay their bills sometimes because they just need to keep touring to make income because they're not making much money off album sales. You can listen to their music for free on Spotify or even on YouTube, right? Yeah. We all do it. We all listen to music on streaming platforms. We don't really buy albums anymore. Nobody really buys albums anymore. It's very rare.
Yeah.
I remember in the old days, I'd be excited. My favorite band would be releasing an album. I was the first one at HMV when they're opening the doors. I'd be buying
the cover,
buying the
lyrics.
Yeah,
Jeez.
exactly.
I'm the record man.
HMV. So how does the royalty work now? Because everything is on iTunes and on all these streaming platforms. They buy the rights and...
Well, a band like Mastodon, right?
Yeah.
They don't have enough traction online because it's niche. It's a small market. So they need to do the shows.
Today, it's a small market.
That's right. But you can have somebody in pop, like Justin Bieber. He captured the market way before touring. You get it? So he had made a lot of money just from YouTube, and then he supplemented the income by going out and doing tours. So it depends where you are in the market.
Yeah, but he's also his spectrum or his scope is age 0 to 90. Where there's this
exactly.
18 to
That's more of a
40,
niche. Yeah. That's why they have to rely on touring.
Yeah. And there's not,
like you said, they're the biggest band
in that genre.
In that genre, but we saw them at
Metropolis, yeah.
I mean, you see these guys, the job they do on stage.
How fun was that show, though?
It was a good show. Yeah. Like, I mean, they're performing like animals.
Yeah.
But they're not getting paid that well.
Yeah.
But you know what? It was the first.
If they partied like they did back then and had a shitty show, I mean, it could screw a lot of things up for them.
Yeah, but you know what? They're a metal band. But usually, when you think about going to a metal concert, you're afraid to take your kids to a metal show, right? Because there's like mosh pits and crazy people, and they're drunk and they're violent and they're like a bunch of barbarian savages.
That's a thrash.
That's a stereotype, right? But when we went to that concert,
it was civilized.
It was
because it's Prague.
It was a great crowd.
It's
it was
Prague,
just
it's
an
Prague.
awesome crowd. Everybody was respectful and polite, and it almost felt like
because it's a mature type of music.
Yeah, it almost felt like when you go to a show at the Place des Arts, everybody was like
focused on the
friendly.
performance,
It was just amazing. There was no mosh pits. And I was thinking to myself, I would definitely bring my kids to a show like this if it wasn't so loud, of course.
Yeah,
But it felt. I didn't expect that. Like we were all pretty old and well behaved, and the other people around us were just as civilized. It wasn't. I've actually never seen that at a heavy metal concert, right? So, I mean,
have you brought your kids to shows? Now that you mention it,
I've brought them to.
Even if it embarrasses you, bro, you can say it.
It doesn't embarrass me. I'm okay. I'm comfortable with the fact that I've seen the Wiggles live. You know, I mean, they've been to my shows, and as far as a big concert goes, no, they haven't been to a concert, but I've taken them to Disney on Ice.
Yeah.
And we actually recently, 2 weeks ago, we went to Cirque du Soleil. We went to the Axel show, which was,
how was that?
phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
It was absolutely mind-blowing. It was one of the greatest shows I've ever seen, honestly.
Really?
Fantastic. I loved it. The kids loved it. It was great for all of us.
Nice.
Yeah. So they've seen shows, but I haven't taken them to like their first Greek concert or rock concert. Well, their first Greek concert was their dad, I guess.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, I have a feeling they won't be very much impressed at a Greek concert.
I don't know about that.
When they're so like, because they're so like inserted in that kind of mentality where my dad sings.
they can connect the dots. It's been there kind of thing.
My son loves Greek music. He loves the skila. The guy loves clarina. My son loves the maki.
Really?
Yeah, he loves that stuff.
Okay.
My daughter, my daughters, the older one is just all about Frozen and Frozen and Frozen and Frozen 2.
Does she
And
like the
it's-
song "Let It Go"?
No, the second one has a new thing. You know what happened to me actually? Now that you mentioned Frozen. When was it? On Sunday, or Saturday, whatever. It was a couple days ago. We went to see Frozen, so I'm looking at my phone if it's available. I'm like, I go to my wife. Look, let's go watch Frozen 2. You know, it's gonna be fun. We go to the counter. She goes, "Oh, it's only in French."
Oh boy.
No, but you know the thing is, the kids don't. They don't care. I cared. I'm like, I'll watch them in French now, man. Come on. But then I'm like, in my head, I'm like, there's no way I'm turning around now and leaving, telling the kid, yeah, sorry, it's only in French, because as if they can understand, right?
You gotta,
Was the
you gotta
English version
choose what's
sold out?
more
Is that what
painful.
No, I don't know. It wasn't playing. I don't know. I missed
What is
the
this
whole.
movie theater you went to?
It was the Guzzo on Tash here in the South Shore. So I look at my wife. I'm like, it's only in French. She's like, well, we're watching it in French, right? So it didn't honestly. It made zero difference to my daughter.
You're lucky.
But it was so weird, man, watching the thing in French.
Yeah, I'm kind of not really a fan. I mean, it doesn't really matter at that point. You're going for your kids, right?
Yeah.
But I'm not a fan of watching a movie that's been overdubbed.
Yeah,
I'd much rather read subtitles. Or
yeah.
exactly. In
But
the
yeah, but
original
you,
language.
yeah, but
Compromising the
you
art.
notice it less with cartoons, like animated stuff. But
Sure.
what bothers me is that I love watching the animated stuff and trying to guess who the actor is that is doing the voiceover. I don't know why I have this thing. I'm like,
I
let me try
do
to-
exactly
Me
the
too,
same thing.
me too.
I always spot.
I love it.
I always
I'm
spot
like,
them
who is
too.
it? You know.
I saw
And then at
that.
some point you're like, oh man, that's so familiar, and then you can't wait for the credits. Okay, who was it?
Right, I do that too. I love that. I love that stuff.
So that bothered me because I couldn't do it because it was in French.
Yeah, that would probably bother me as well because I actually get excited to watch these Disney movies. Even Frozen, I was excited to go watch Frozen 2 with my kids. I'm not gonna lie.
It was not bad. It was a good story.
I enjoyed it. I mean,
Yeah.
My life has been ruined by the first Frozen. I've been listening to that goddamn song for the last 5 years of my life. It's like all Let It Go. I've heard that song more than any other song.
Did you learn how to play it?
Yes, I did. I jam it with my daughter all the
There you
time.
go.
I have fun with it, I
It
guess.
wasn't a
yeah.
total loss.
And the thing is that all three of my kids love that song, even my son. They love it.
My
They
boys
love it.
like it too.
My little one, she's 2 years old, so obsessed with that song that her her educator in her class at daycare went out and purchased the soundtrack so that she can play it for her in the class.
That's sweet.
So yeah,
That is sweet.
yeah.
You guys, you haven't done that the Disney thing with the little one.
Not yet.
You're lucky, man, because she has such the age gap between her and Gerasimo is so big that do you even think that she's even gonna get into this Disney movie thing? Because she doesn't have anyone to kind of introduce her in that reality.
The daycare is introduced them
Yeah,
to certain movies.
it's the daycare and
They
the
watch
friends.
movie as a group, and then
The
they come home,
influence
they want
comes
to
from
watch
the
it
pe-
again.
I have a confession to make.
Right.
My children, and they're, I complain about Frozen and all that, but the truth is that I am the one who got them into all of this stuff because I'm just a giant baby. I still love watching cartoons. I get excited for Disney movies, and like we got Disney Plus, and I was like, guys, we're gonna watch DuckTales now. You know, it was my childhood there, and my kids were like, what is that? You know, I'm like, DuckTales. This is great. You're gonna love it. You know.
I can't do that. I can do it because my daughter is so obsessed with the same thing. Like it's a pattern.
Yes, of course. They get stuck in that
like
loop.
it goes through Moana. At the beginning, I was like,
Oh,
can
I've
we
seen
watch
I've seen Moana 750 times.
It's like, can we watch something else? No, I want to watch Moana. And then it went to Moana.
I can recite every line of
so
that.
hard to say.
I'm sorry.
You guys haven't seen it enough times. You don't know the lyrics.
No, but it went from there, and
You're
then my
welcome.
and then my wife,
You're welcome.
you're welcome. And then she's like, it'd be nice to introduce her to the Disney movies that we saw, like the Beauty and the Beast and all that
Yeah.
stuff. And then she got into the Little Mermaid, and then it was
Right.
just the Little Mermaid. It was like a
Yep.
Little Mermaid marathon. It was
Yep.
just Little
My
Mermaid.
boys like that movie.
Little Mermaid.
I introduced them to it. Yeah.
I loved it when I
It's a
was a
good
kid,
movie.
man. It came out when I was 8 years old. I loved it.
I
That,
had never
that
watched it.
My
dynamic. you know?
favorite villain of all time in The Little Mermaid.
That octopus woman.
Ursula,
there,
yeah. It's great. It's terrifying.
The perfect.
So you're not in there.
No. You guys are talking, and it's like I don't know. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
But you didn't like this stuff when you were a kid?
How-
You were too busy playing guitar.
No, I got no.
He
I-
watched
I-
he watched Greek cartoons.
You know what happened to me? No, I was never too much into TV. I got into a phase with the Ninja Turtles and all that stuff,
Of course.
and then I got into this big. I had to watch 4 movies a night in my teens, and then I got over it again. So now it's like,
Yeah, you used to be a big movie buff.
yeah, I used to watch.
I've spoken about movies.
Yeah,
with
yeah.
you.
We could talk about movies for a few hours.
Oh, yeah.
But then it just left. And you know what? I'm trying, I don't know why, but I'm trying to take TV away from my kids. I find already they're exposed to too much.
Too much is not good. That's for
So,
sure.
like, I'm not the kind of guy that's going to go get the Disney Plus channel.
Right.
But maybe. Depends. So, yeah, we've seen Coco, I think, together.
Oh, that's great.
Coco was a great
We've
movie.
seen
man.
Moana.
Amazing.
My
And-
kids don't
but-
like it. Coco.
They don't like Coco.
No, not Alex.
They go through phases, though. I was trying to get my kids to watch Toy Story
I
for a
think
long
He's
time.
a little creeped out, I think.
Oh, well, yeah, it's a
With
little
the
weird.
skulls, with yeah.
Guys, the concept of the
It's
movie
dark,
is
it's dark, it's death.
It's about the afterlife and death
Yeah,
and
yeah.
skeletons and it's
But it's made in a fun way, though. It's
absolutely.
If you're raised in a culture where you celebrate that,
You know what I noticed though with Coco, and I haven't noticed it in any other animated movie. When he's playing the guitar,
I was
the
just gonna
kid,
say that, yeah.
it's exactly that. Like it's
It's-
not just him holding the guitar, and you hear, the kid is actually playing the melody.
fretting,
Yeah.
even the vibration of the string after he plucks it is
It's so well
it's
done.
astonishing.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
level of detail in these animated movies is
You haven't seen
ridiculous.
it,
I saw it.
eh? Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
I
you're
enjoyed Coco. It's one of those things that we enjoyed.
because it's about guitar.
It's amazing.
We liked it. Moana was pretty good, too.
Yeah.
But we don't get the chance to all sit down and watch something.
Yeah. See, that's
Because
the
you,
thing.
you said about the age difference, right?
Yeah.
So a 3-year-old and a 10-year-old,
Oof,
Tough.
different planet.
Definitely, yeah.
you know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
like I'll watch something with Yerasimo. Yerasimo's more into wrestling now,
Right.
So he watches all the old stuff. Like last time I was watching Coco Beware. Or like he'll put because you don't know where you're at, right? Like think about it in the timeline. He
Yeah.
doesn't know. He could just go and click YouTube video after YouTube video, but there's no order.
Yeah, you got to monitor.
He could
that.
watch something that was 10 years ago, watch something that was last week, then he could go to watch something that was 5 years ago. And, time
Yeah.
doesn't.
But that's crazy just to realize
about it.
the age that we're living in, right? I don't know if we spoke about this in
Yeah.
another.
Yeah,
we did, we did.
Yeah.
And I'm witnessing it every day. He's not able to, he doesn't know how to say, oh, this was 5 years ago.
You can't give it a timeline.
To
You can't give it a
contextualize
timeline.
Yeah, I mean,
It's sort of like living in the 1800s.
also we're,
1801,
we're
1899, almost the same.
we're currently living in a time where they're doing a lot of these reboots and sequels to the stuff that we grew up with, right? Like right now, that's pretty much what's happening. Ghostbusters 3 is coming out, right? Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Ghostbusters was in 1984. I was
I
3.
didn't see that remake there with a women.
No, that's not the one I'm talking about. They're
No,
actually
there's a new one. There's
There's a
another one.
sequel
Oh, with the kids there. I saw
with the original
the
cast
original
returning as well, Bill Murray. And
Oh,
the,
yeah?
it's the real Ghostbusters 3, right? Which is exciting for the older guys who grew up with it, and it's also exciting for the younger generation.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, my kids. They're like Star Wars, for example. I've never been a big Star Wars fanatic. I watch them, I like them, but I don't go nuts over them, right? But my kids, they're gonna watch the original Star Wars from 1977, and then they're gonna watch the new one that came out, and they won't notice the difference.
Yeah.
To them, it's the same. It's Star Wars, you know. So they can't really Like they're not going to see the original and say this looks old and cheesy. No, they love it. They
That's what
think
he was
it's
saying.
fun,
There's no
you know?
timeline,
Exactly.
and it's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah, it's very weird.
As far as
You know, it's the first time in a long time that.
It's the first time ever that happens.
No, that's not true.
Oh yeah.
No, it's not true.
Oh yeah.
No, in the modern era, yeah, but.
Well, yeah.
what are we talking about?
Previous generations, you could say one
Yeah, I'm
generation to
lost
the next
also.
was
No,
very
but
similar.
think about it this way, right? Let's go back to music. Music, there was the genre, and then the lifestyle, right? So you knew there was the disco era, the 80s era,
Yeah,
the glam
but
rock.
you're only talking about the last 2-3 generations. Of,
That's what I'm saying. So today,
well, yeah, but go before that.
no, because whatever was in was exposed on TV.
Yeah.
No, I'm just
So
saying.
you had to follow the chronological order, right?
Yeah.
Today, you can go and watch a David Bowie video. You could go watch Queen. You could go see Beatles. You could go and watch Kanye West. And you don't know when.
Also, another thing I've noticed in the music.
That's
what I mean?
That's our fault.
Well,
I mean,
it's
all,
what it
all
is.
these revamps, redux, redo, all this stuff is because we're obsessed with this nostalgic stuff. Oh, I love this movie when I was a kid. It's our fault.
We're definitely in a
It's
time where
our
nostalgia
generation.
is very
Like,
strong.
I'll give you an example.
It's our generation.
I
that's-
put
that's
on
creating
the
this.
song Scatman. Remember?
Right. Oh
Right?
my God.
Scatman.
Yeah, I was actually, that was a guilty pleasure of mine.
Call
when
it
I
out.
was-
The
I
Scatman's
loved
world.
Scatman. So you know what? I put it on, and Gerasim loved it. My son loved it. So then it was like, hey, Dad, can you put that song again? Can you put that song again? Can you put that? And you know what? He has no idea when that was written. He has no idea
yeah,
that was 20 years ago. He thinks there's somebody out there now called Scatman that is singing that song.
Right.
That's what
right.
I'm trying to get at.
Same thing with my kids. Honestly, what I try to do is I try to expose them to as much music as possible. So everything that I've ever heard in my entire life, I'm going to try to introduce it to my children.
Yeah.
Every decade of music.
Keep them open-minded.
Every genre, even stuff that I used to listen to that I hate now, stuff that I don't like, I will play it for them. I'll play everything. I'm not going to force them to listen to what I like to listen to right now.
Yeah.
Because, my taste changes over time.
That was a mistake I did too, man. When I was young and I was learning, example, if it wasn't Metallica, it sucked. If it wasn't Iron Maiden, it wasn't good.
I think we all went through that little phase.
I went through that too long, and then I started appreciating music
Really?
way later.
I'm
yeah.
surprised because you really are one person that I know that appreciates everything.
Right. I appreciate everything.
Yeah.
It just for like maybe 2 years, maybe a 3-year period, I was stuck in that mode.
Well, I think we all
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of needed to go through that.
Yeah.
I was like that. I was a
Yeah, yeah.
pretentious little bastard too. I was constantly like, oh, this is the best and this is crap and it's just
Yeah.
not the right
We
way
all
to
went
think.
through that.
Yeah.
Now it's like I can appreciate noise. If it's well done, like you know what I'm saying. Like a lot of people are experimenting with noises and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
that sound good.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I mean, there's so many.
There's genres that just experiment in like the depths of bass.
Yeah, yeah.
Just like pop deep and deep.
You could appreciate what people are trying to do or what they're trying to express. And that's another thing with music. We spoke about it before. You needed to know an instrument. You needed to know how to sing. You needed to know how to manage certain equipment to go out there.
Right.
Today, if you want to express yourself, there's a way to do it,
Yeah.
right? Whether you know how to sing, whether you know how to play an instrument, if you have to express something, you have a little bit of an artistic bone in you, you could find ways to push it out.
Absolutely.
So
So you're not only competing with musicians, you're competing with anybody that wants to express something.
So you're exposing your kids to all these different genres and all these styles and everything.
Yeah.
What's going on there? What are they? What's the result?
The result, they love it all. They
My turn.
I mean, we've had
much coffee.
we've had moments where my kids will be screaming, "I don't like this," change it or put this on or whatever. But I'm honestly, I try to expose them to every type of music, even if it's something that I don't agree with personally, something that I don't really like, and it actually adds a fun element to that somehow. Like I'll put on a song that I liked in 1990 that I don't particularly like anymore, and I think it
Rhythm.
sounds like crap now.
Ice Ice Baby.
Yeah, like the
Rhythm is a dance.
right, like the 90s dance
was
music,
91,
right? The DJ club mix stuff back then that we used to love, I'll play that stuff for my kids today, and I will never listen to that stuff on my own. But when I listen to it with my kids and they get into it, somehow the combination of the nostalgia and my kids enjoying it makes it fun for me again.
find yourself
in that
dancing.
moment,
Say
I
the
find
truth.
it fun again, or even songs that I'm bored of, songs that I've been singing for the last 23 years of my life that I don't really want to hear anymore because I'm not only not only I've heard them a million times, but I'm singing them on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
You know, I don't really want to listen to those songs in my car, but when my kids are enjoying them and they're moving to them and dancing to them, I enjoy them again. So it's when I'm on my own, when I'm by myself, I don't like those songs and I won't listen to them. But when my kids are there, there's something fun about revisiting those, you know?
It's funny that you mentioned about the songs and how repetitive they get, and you know you're just sick of. How do you do that? I mean, at some point, do you tell yourself, "God, man, I'm just tired of this shit"? Man.
Yeah, I've had my moments. I still have my moments where I'm kind of not enjoying certain songs that I'm performing. But what helps is basically either changing the style of the song or doing an acoustic version of it when it gets old or boring, or changing the order that the songs are played in. But mostly what helps me enjoy them, even though I don't particularly enjoy listening to those songs anymore, is watching people enjoy them. So when people are dancing and people are into it, it creates a certain vibe, and I can go with it, and I can turn that part of my brain off. It's like
Because
I can actually have fun with it.
It's not entirely about the song. That's why.
Yeah.
The same thing with your kids. You're enjoying their enjoying of
atmosphere.
it. Plus, you've been there, so you're showing them, hey, this is how you enjoy this song. This is how I used to enjoy it. So
Right. Like, for example, like I was talking to my partner, my bouzouki player, Angelo, right? We'll be in the car, and he has a lot of guilty pleasures, as I do. And he'll play these old songs for me, and I'm like, I get into my old pretentious self. I'll be like, I can't listen to this crap anymore. And he's like, what do you mean? Like, you used to like this, and you sing this. And I'm like, I can't listen to this anymore, man. I'm tired of it. And then we'll go to work. 2 hours later,
And
people are
you're
dancing,
singing it,
and I'm singing the song, and I'm like all into it. And he's like, you're a goddamn hypocrite. Like, you were just telling me you hated this song. I'm like, I'm loving it right now. Just leave me alone.
I'm in the zone.
I'm in the moment. So
it's good for the crowd. So.
yeah, it's all about that moment when you were
What did I miss?
when you were gone. We were talking about.
By the way, I peed everywhere except in the bowl.
That's nice. That's fantastic.
You forgot how to sit.
it's like my son. It's like,
You know what? You know what's embarrassing? Since we're on the my son has seen me pee girly style, and he's done it, and I'm like, no, you pee standing up, all right?
You do it.
Don't do what I do.
You should have just pissed in the shower, fuck. Just
Next time.
at that point, man, just
The sink is right
just
there.
go crazy.
Sorry, what did I miss, man?
basically, what I was saying is that I try to expose my children to all the music I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
Every decade of music, every genre, and even like those guilty pleasures that I mock today that I used to like once upon a time. I won't necessarily listen to most of these songs on my own because I don't care to, but when I'm listening to them with my children and they're hearing them for the first time and they're enjoying them and they're like, "What is this song?" Guys, I'll be honest, like this is kind of embarrassing, but the song came up before Barbie Grill. Like my daughter, she was watching some Barbie videos on YouTube once, and that song somehow found its way into the queue of the YouTube videos, and I was like, I don't know if I should be introducing this weird song to my daughter, but then I was like getting all nostalgic.
He was harmonizing.
Right, and I was like, Daddy used to listen to this song, and then we're in the car, and even though I think the song is ridiculous, we're in the car and they're partying and they're singing along to it, and it was fun for me. I was enjoying it, I won't listen to it on my own, but when my kids are enjoying something, I can find enjoyment in that. And then we went we went on to talk about how there are a lot of songs that I've been singing for the last 2 decades, and some of them I just don't enjoy listening to anymore. Even really good songs I don't want to listen to anymore.
Like Genefilia.
Sure.
Rosa.
Yeah, let's not. No, I love Rosa.
Okay.
I mean, I'm bored of it.
Yeah.
I'm bored of. I don't particularly enjoy doing that song very much anymore.
You've probably
But I
performed that
love-
song 3,000 times.
Yeah,
Maybe more.
I still not as many times as I've heard "Let It Go," but basically, where I'm going with this is, we were talking with Angelo once. I was saying this earlier, and I was, mocking a song that he was listening to. He was all into it, and I was like, I can't listen to this crap anymore. I was getting all pretentious, and I was just being an ass. And then we went to work, and I performed that song that I was bashing. and people were into it. And then I started getting into it, and I started moving. And Angelo looked at me, and he was like, "Well, I thought you didn't like the song." And I'm like, "Right now, I like it." You know.
Yeah.
So it's all about the moment. You know,
I
when I'm
agree.
making people dance and people are enjoying it, and that vibe is happening. I get to enjoy things that I don't necessarily always enjoy. You know,
At
know what?
that point, it's more than just about the song.
I see the difference. My background is rock,
Yeah.
but I sing Greek now. So I play Greek and I sing Greek at the same place, actually. And I've figured out that 90% of the songs I don't like, but those same songs I love singing.
yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
I feel the same way.
I might not like the song to listen to it, but I love performing it and watch people enjoy the
Yeah,
song.
because you can have fun with it.
You can have fun with the song.
You can
Yeah.
perform it the way you want to
That's
perform
right.
it, express it the way you want to.
And you don't need to
when
love it.
People are moving. There's something about that. You know,
The
I'm
whole-
making people move. I'm making them dance.
Yeah.
They're enjoying listening to me right now. You know,
Performing is always about the crowd's response
Yeah.
to your performance.
Yeah.
So
And
it's
having
the whole-
connection-
it's more
connecting
than
and
just
have a
the
good time.
song. It's more than just how the song is
and
written.
you
It's
know,
about everything.
if you're hating what you're singing, then what is the point?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I mean, you're not going to project fun energy to people if you're hating what you're doing in that moment. You know, I mean, we've all had our moments on stage where we're tired, and you know, the baby kept us up all night, and you just don't want to be there. But you find your groove. You find that.
You find a way to like the songs. Because I had to learn a lot of songs very, very quick.
Yeah.
And a lot of the first time I would hear the song, it would be like, I don't know about that. But then
It grows on you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The process of learning the song, it's like you start liking it.
Yeah.
And then when you start performing it, it's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely. So you know, I go through my phases where I'm listening right now, like what I listen to.
What do you listen to right now?
I listen to a lot. I listen to film scores.
Yeah.
I listen to a lot of like Hans Zimmer stuff. and,
Genius.
I like
Genius.
I like instrumental orchestral stuff. I'm
into that too.
I'm really into that stuff. As far as songs go, I listen to a lot of rock, alternative rock. I listen to Tool and Mastodon and very aggressive stuff for the most part.
Yeah.
But then I'll listen to jazz and
So
funk.
you
and-
expose your kids to everything.
but my kids, I mostly expose them to stuff that I used to listen to. You know, I'm not necessarily gonna play the stuff that I'm listening to right now for them. I don't think they're ready for it yet. You
Me
know?
too. I'm trying to like develop their ear a bit and say, hey, like what I'll do is I'll put something on that I like, and then I'll be like, hey, look what he's doing here.
Yeah.
Listen to what the drums are doing here. What do you think?
My
Did you
daughter,
like the solo?
My daughter's been dissecting songs lately. Like I'll put on a song and she'll listen to the intro. She'll be like, "Baba, that's a bass." Like she knows what a bass is now,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I've taught her what every instrument is. You know?
That's pretty amazing. though.
And then she'll be like, "Now the drums are gonna come in," and then she's like, and then my son will be like, "Baba, that's a guitar." And now my son knows the difference between an acoustic and an electric
That's right.
guitar, and they're like all excited about these things. You know, it's like my son is obsessed with the guitar.
You pique their interest.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then they start they start training their ear by themselves.
Yeah, all three of them are very into music.
Awesome.
My little one's got some lungs on her as well. She sings.
I
her heart.
catch my daughter singing.
Isn't it great?
Yeah, it's amazing.
What I find amazing,
Like by herself in like some little corner.
No, she's like playing in her area, and then she just starts. And she hums and she does things, and the lyrics are wrong, but it doesn't matter.
what impresses me the most about my eldest,
My youngest does that.
it really blows my mind. She'll be singing, right? She's really passionate about it too. She'll be singing her favorite song, like "Let It Go" or whatever. Now it's all about Frozen 2.
Yeah.
It's all the new songs, right? Which is it's
I
good.
can't tell you, man. I heard them in French, so I have no idea.
Well, that's too bad. There's a really
No way.
Yeah, even the songs are translated. Yeah.
Sucks.
Because it's part of the story, I guess.
I don't know.
See,
I have no idea, man.
You're lucky though, 'cause, I mean, I wouldn't want to watch the movie in French, especially since I want to see them myself. But you can't fool my kids when it comes to that. My daughter specifically, she knows Elsa's voice.
Yeah.
So if she hears some random French
It's
girl,
not Elsa.
That's not Elsa.
Yeah,
So it's not the real Elsa. She's gonna know that, and it's gonna offend her. You know.
It's like bringing her a toy from the dollar store.
But what I was exactly, or it's kind of like the toys that we grew up with, guys. You remember when we were kids? You'd go out and buy our parents would buy them for us, but a Ninja Turtle toy, right? I remember I was so excited. My parents would buy me like a Ninja Turtle toy, and I would look at it and I'd be like, "This looks nothing like the freaking characters
Yeah, 'cause
on TV.
They got it at Rossi.
The colors are wrong. The facial expressions are wrong.
Which is a dollar store.
No, you know what?
The original
no,
dollar store.
Specifically the Ninja Turtles and the GI Joes. They were the official toys, my friend.
yeah.
They were not the cheaper versions, and they've brought those classic collections back. And I find I was always weirded out by that. Like I'd still be excited to play with those toys, but they never looked the way they were supposed to look.
It was an imitation.
Even the colors of the weapons, they were all brown. It was just all brown. Like there was no detail. And now I'm buying these toys for my kids, and the likeness of the characters is absolutely flawless. And I'm like, I wish I was a kid again. This is what I wanted when I was a kid. Why didn't this exist?
Yeah.
They were perfect. Like the new ones, they're just absolutely perfect. They every detail is exactly as it's supposed to be, and it's something I always wondered about when I was a kid. Like nothing was ever the way it was supposed to be, and I couldn't understand why.
I feel like you're the kind of guy that still has all his toys.
You know what?
In mint condition.
You know, unfortunately,
Okay.
I wish I did, but I went through a period in my life when I was a teenager. Where I was kind of like, you know, I don't want anything to do with my childhood. I stopped watching cartoons and I stopped playing with toys, and I was just like this wannabe cool teenager.
Rebel.
You know, so one day my mother was cleaning out, you know, the closets and all the old stuff, and she came to me and she said, "You still want your Ninja Turtles? You still want your old wrestling toys? Do you want?"
Oh, you got rid of them all.
Sorry.
He burned them.
And I was too cool for school, man. I was like,
You're like,
what am I
"What?
gonna do with that
I
stuff?
like
give
girls."
Give it to the poor, you know? And I regret it. Sorry.
What, giving it to the poor or getting rid of it?
Getting rid of it.
No,
That happened to me once too.
but you have a lot of your toys, man.
I have some of the toys downstairs because my parents they kept them, and Yerasimo started playing with them, and he destroyed everything. I had them for years, mint condition.
Yeah.
My son gets a hold of them, and they're done.
Yeah, 'cause you
I
gave
need
it
to
to
go
him
to
when
No
I was like
legs.
3 years old
No arms, no heads. Maria's playing with
with pieces.
with pieces.
My turn.
Have you whipped out the Sega Genesis?
No, but you know what I did?
Oh, you should, man.
I did go get the Master System game, Sega, and Yerasimo and I played, and he loved it.
Yeah.
But it lasted a day. He got bored.
Because it wasn't
What
what
he
it
does
was.
is
No, you know why? Because you lose. The new games, you don't lose. You
take-
continue.
You continue, yeah.
We played Black Belt, and it's like, what is this? What do I have to start from the beginning? They couldn't understand the concept of starting from the beginning, not completing
stage.
the stage.
Yeah.
And he didn't like that.
Wait. The games today, there's no lives and there's no.
Well, they could always start again.
man,
From,
I'm so clueless.
Yeah.
You
honestly.
start from like a checkpoint, like a start area.
Yeah.
well, think
Like,
about it.
you
Like,
ha- all your experience, all your leveling up is still there. So you take it with you.
you don't really complete levels today. You play. You play games. You play different missions, yeah. But you don't.
hidden objectives.
You know, like the
Yeah,
old,
no, we talked about that last episode where they have that, that open whatever.
I don't
it's
know if I
called,
could
but
explain
there's
this
no
well.
games where
No.
you lose,
No, you know what it is? It's like
sports games.
It's
or,
not
You
repetitive.
lose, but you have to try. You take off from where you were. It's not like
you don't have to redo like. It's hard to explain, but basically, like take a game like Black Belt, right? If you lose and you restart, you're gonna face exactly the same thing, exactly the same jumps. You know what I mean? It's exactly the same characters.
Yeah,
It's very repetitive.
the same pattern. Yeah.
When you lose in Fortnite, you start off where you left off, like George said. So it's different. He didn't appreciate that aspect of losing and then starting all over again. He hated that. That was like, Dad, what's this?
yeah, it's too challenging because it's about the way they're designed these games now. That's if they keeping them engaged and stimulated.
But I think
that's
it's-
how.
But what we had fun with is after Yerasimo got bored, Angelo Thomas came over my house and we played all night.
That's
What
hilarious.
did you play? What did I miss? What did you play?
Sega, the old Sega,
I asked
the
him
first
if
Sega.
if he's whipped out the old.
I went and
video
found it
games.
downstairs with this little adapter and like a couple of wires that my dad had put together. Basically, if I pull too hard, there goes the game. So we had.
Oh wait, that's another thing, man. You managed to put it on the new TVs because those things.
Yeah. We figured it out. We put it and we were.
It was like a coax cable. Remember, you had to
Yeah.
screw it into the.
Yeah, there you go.
That's right.
Cable antenna input.
So so the Sega's still alive.
Wow.
And then
Not the
I'm jealous.
Genesis,
I'm
the
jealous.
Sega,
That's insane.
the first one.
My biggest regret of my life is getting rid of my old stuff, man. Like, I still have my original Nintendo and my original Sega Genesis
I had it.
at my mom's place.
Then my sister gave it to her kids.
But
We
getting
don't
rid of
have
my
it
toys,
anymore.
getting rid of my toys was a mistake. And what's sad is that all of those old toys, guys, are all being sold at Toys R Us again.
Yeah.
The original Ninja Turtles collection is all at Toys R Us. I'm standing in that aisle at Toys R Us looking at all my old toys and thinking, what a moron I am.
It's funny that you mentioned that because I was at
have a lot of
I was
toys.
at my cousin's house not long ago, and he whips out this Transformers thing, and I go to my cousin. I'm like, "Oh, you brought your toys?" Like, "No, man, this is new." I'm like, "What do you mean it's new?" No, they're remaking them to look like the '80s.
Get out. Remember GoBots?
No,
Do you guys remember that?
No.
It was like Transformers, but like a different brand.
Like a knockoff.
Yeah, well, kinda.
this is a cheaper version.
I have a lot. I have a lot of GoBots, and I'm probably thinking my dad was too cheap to buy the real version, so he compared the two, and it's like this is $2 less. So
You know,
And it's the same.
back then.
Yeah, it's the same.
Now we spoil our kids like crazy, right? And back then it was like I'd get one action figure every, I don't know
there's
how
so
many
many
months.
toys in my house, in my in-laws and my parents that I don't. It's not quantity anymore. I don't quantify it. It's probably pounds.
Wow.
Like I know we have maybe 750 pounds of toys.
of plastic.
That's how
envy
many
that.
toys we have. It's crazy. And you know what? They don't appreciate anything because they have so many.
Yeah,
So
that's a problem.
There's no value.
We used to get one toy, socks, underwear, and jogging pants or sweaters.
Guys, honestly, that is an issue.
Yeah.
They have so many toys, they don't know what to do with them.
Is your house in order?
It's our fault.
In order?
Like in order? Like
Uh,
do you see the
occasionally.
floor? Do you see the floor in your house?
It depends on what time of the day it is.
Because my house, guys, honest to God, if it weren't for these podcasts, this house would be a mess 24/7.
You know what? I'm not. There's no shame in it. My house is a disaster most of the time. When the kids are playing, it is a nightmare.
Yeah, us too.
I walk into my house,
Paper, food,
and I
and
get
clothes
anxiety
everywhere.
seeing all the toys on the floor. But we have, we've set some rules. By the end of the night, if you want to sit down and watch a movie before you go to bed, we're gonna pick up, we're gonna clean up, put everything away. My son's pretty good at that.
Yeah.
My eldest, my daughter, doesn't really like picking up very often.
My daughter is like, she doesn't understand. It's as if she doesn't understand those words that are coming out of my mouth. Pick up, yeah, and then she goes and she opens like, there's toys everywhere.
I get the yeah, but the yeah, but.
No, I mean, there's no yeah, but. It's
Adriana,
like, just
please
ignore
pick
it.
up your toys. Yeah, but Gabriella threw that one on the floor. It doesn't matter. You can all work together. And but Georgie. Georgie wanted to play with this. There's always an excuse, you know.
I mean, I have a problem with that. My eldest has no problem. He's quick. He's efficient. He'll bang, 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 bang. My youngest, I don't want to do it.
Yeah, they all have different
You
characters.
do it.
You do it.
My little one.
Alex is doing everything. Help him. No, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, doesn't care.
Oh, my son has started saying the "I don't care" thing. It really infuriates me. It depends on the mood he's in. He can be the sweetest little angel, and then he just like full contrarian.
They can all be a lot of things.
My son is funny now. He thinks he's a comedian.
Oh, sarcastic too.
Yeah, so you know what he pulled a few months ago? I just have to share the story because it was funny. I'm like, because he plays soccer, right? So there's it's about 6 million balls in the house. I go to at a point you can walk. I'm walking and you could always like just fall.
Yeah.
You could trip over these stupid balls.
I've taken wipeouts in the middle of the night, guys.
You go wake up and need.
So look what he did. Look what he did to me. This was funny. He goes to me. I go to him. Yerasme, you got to pick up these balls. And he looks at me and he goes, "What? These balls?" At that point, I'm confused. It's like, man, that's a funny one. You know, it's like I feel. Do I laugh? Do I reprimand him? Like, what do I do? So I just start laughing. He goes,
That's
"What?
amazing.
These balls."
That actually reminds me of a story when we were younger. Me and my you remember? Do you remember Chief?
That's terrible.
I remember Chief, right? When we were younger, he was a great soccer player, right? And his father was into it, and he'd get him all the equipment, and he had a bunch of pro soccer balls.
Bessie's brother.
That's right.
Okay.
So he had like a net of soccer balls, right?
Like a team.
So we were chilling in his backyard one day, and his father came out. He was like all angry.
Is Chief okay with you sharing the story?
I don't know.
Who cares?
It doesn't matter.
I don't know who he is.
He'll be fine with it. He'll be fine with it. So anyway, we're sitting.
George, I wasn't part of this.
We're sitting in the backyard, and his father came out, and he was like, he had that look. You know, he was giving us that mean look. We're like, we're in trouble. We don't know why, but we're in trouble. You know, he's like, Yorgo pune balles. Couldn't find the soccer balls. I think we were playing with them, and they were scattered around. We weren't being responsible at all. And anyway, I was like, well, just balles. What balles? You know, he's like, balles, pune balles, Yorgo. And he turns around. He was a bit of a jokester too. You know, he turns around. There's a bunch of guys there. We're all big pareja, and he turns around. He's like, guys, my father's losing it. He thinks I have his balls. That your story reminded me of that.
Did you guys have a lane growing up?
I didn't.
I had a grass lane.
You had a
I had other people's lanes.
because guys.
Our lane.
I had Barclay School right in front.
Yeah, that was nice. No, it was a big X. Our lane had, syringes.
Violence.
No, come on.
Like the occasional
man.
gang fight.
Yeah, broken glass. Like, look,
Yeah.
you look at the lanes today, and I was like, wow, man, I wish I had that lane to play in.
Yeah, that's true.
My lane was
But your lane was always clean. I remember
Very
that.
good lane.
We used to find really disturbing things.
Yeah.
Well, what? Syringes,
Condoms,
condoms.
yeah.
That's not disturbing.
I remember when,
condom.
I
When you're a
was
kid?
Make love.
When
I
you're a
found a
kid?
condom when I was a kid, and I filled up a water balloon. It was massive. Massive. My mom lost
Bro,
it. What
you,
did you
you
play
thought it was a
with?
balloon, and you
Yeah.
blew it.
Guys, you know what though? You know what? We used to break windows, slap shots,
Yeah.
boom. Go jump in the guy's yard to get the ball.
Yeah.
Yep.
Step on his
That was a
tomatoes.
daily thing, man.
Yeah.
Hopping the fence to get the ball.
Hopping the fence and stepping on the tomatoes and
Step on
coming
the
out.
Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Coming home dirty. My mom would be like, "You take off your clothes there."
Yeah.
I wouldn't go in the
Dirty,
house.
bleeding, scraped
Yeah.
knees, and
You would do anything not to go home.
And I'm kind of happy Yerasimon gets a little bit of that. Like in the winter, not really, but in the summer,
Is he the only kid?
no.
Okay,
There's
that's
about
good.
20 of them out
That's
there,
good. That's good.
and it's like,
no,
everywhere.
guys, kids still play outside.
Yeah.
They still play
No.
outside.
In the summer, the lane is like he'll go out around maybe 1 and come back maybe 8.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's great, man.
Yeah. And like I'm happy because it's at the same spot. Like I see him play and I see me play. You know,
Yeah.
It's awesome.
it's different toys, different ways of playing, less racism, less screaming, less fighting. I find they're more civil.
Less racism is a very good thing.
Yeah. It's more civil. I find.
Yeah.
You know, like
Do they play hockey? Do they? Does it still exist? The plastic blades where you would just buy the blade?
Oh man,
And
We
replace
replaced
it.
the
and
blade.
you'd
yeah.
curve it.
Yeah.
you kidding me?
No.
No man. Today's
Really?
parents, they buy their kids $180 of sticks
For one game.
for one game,
And then
and
they
then it's
break
I don't
it.
want to play anymore.
What?
Yeah.
Dude, we used to cherish that
We
one
we
stick.
used to make pads out
and
of
the blade.
couches, right? We would take the cushion from the couch and make
Yeah,
a
we,
pad.
we used to improvise. We grew up a little ghetto though.
Yeah.
I used to make my own toys when my parents couldn't afford to buy a.
and we'd bring the soccer net, and go to the other lane and play the other lane.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah. No, you would see a couch in the garbage. That thing was it was yours.
but there was something fun about that too, right?
Did you
Get a-
guys?
I did it.
Hammers,
Did
bang
you
of
ever take a
hammers.
quarter, make a hole in the quarter, put a string? And
Yeah,
I did that too.
but it never worked for me. I couldn't. I never.
We did it. Not all of them would work.
I know people who made a career out of that. At the gambling machines.
Yeah, that doesn't work
Cash out.
anymore though.
No.
No.
There was a laundromat. I would go to the laundromat. That was when I first got exposed to arcades.
Oh, I loved going to the
It
arcades.
was Video Rialto.
And then there was
Jerry.
it was Galaxy on
yeah,
St.
yeah,
Roch.
that's right. They used to have that was the first time I ever played Mortal Kombat. The first Mortal
We
Kombat.
would go to Satellite Video on Jean Talon.
I remember that place. It was
Satellite.
good, that one.
Yeah, I had never gone to the other ones. I didn't.
You were
Even the
lived on
Dépanneurs back then used
south
to have
side.
arcades.
But that was cool because we had the Dairy Queen.
You could play fruits out of Dépanneur back then.
I remember my dad sending me to go buy a movie, and I would say, "What do you want, Dad?" He would say,
Violent.
"I'm not gonna say it in Greek, but I'll translate. It was like, action, no dialogue. Just give me
And a
action.
lot of bullets.
Fere tu Sigal, Chuck Norris,
Or Van Damme.
Yeah,
Stallone,
my father was a Van Damme fan.
Van Damme.
Van Damme.
You know, he just wanted. All he wanted was action. The less talking, the better.
Yeah.
Guns. And you know what he'll call it? Pistolidia.
Yeah.
You know? Pistolidia.
My father was the same way. Same way. My father, I remember, he introduced me to the good, the bad, and the ugly when I was like 4, which is crazy because I watched that movie recently and I'm like, this is not a movie that any child should be watching. But
My dad liked the
Classic.
westerns
Yeah.
too.
Classic movie. Though.
it's still great, by the way.
Amazing.
I love it.
That's one of the best ones.
Caboica.
Yeah. But Van Damme, that was like his he loved Van Damme movies, man.
It was
He'd
the
send me
splits.
out to
It
the
was
video
splits.
store.
It always was the splits.
Guys, you try
It's always
watching.
the same move.
Try watching those movies today. They're unwatchable, man.
Tell the story with your father and
Fast
the,
forward to the fight scenes.
the movie that he suggested your wife to watch.
Oh yeah.
That was so funny.
So we don't get to watch a lot of movies. We don't watch a lot of movies. So my wife,
told me this
I
story.
asked my dad. She's like, we don't know. We're probably gonna watch a movie. So my dad is like, I have a movie for you. This is to my wife now. Like, think about it. My wife is thinking romantic comedy, something like that.
Right.
Maybe a comedy.
He was very serious.
So he was like, "Te has visto que no dio tu talón." The Expandables
Expandables.
Expendables.
for my wife.
The guy wanted to fake
No, but think about it, man. Those movies, it's like a dream come true for these guys, man, because it has
Yeah,
all the
yeah.
80s guys in one movie.
Condensed.
There's so many good for my dad. Those were the good actors. It wasn't the Pacinos. It wasn't the Pacinos and the Neros. It was the Van Damme Schwarzenegger. It was the guys with the muscles. Yeah, that's the reality. That's what it was.
No,
And you know what? I enjoyed those movies too, because it was part of growing up. And I remember
loved those
Angelo Thoma. Again, I'm bringing him up. He would record these movies and learn them by heart. So we'd be playing out in the lane and we just verbatim,
It would cite the
verbatim,
movies.
like the whole movie.
Yeah. Fun times.
Oh man. I think we should wrap it up.
Yeah.
Alex, thanks for coming, man. I really, really appreciate it.
Guys,
And,
this was a blast. I love this.
you should come back.
I would love to.
We'll come back and we'll do one just on movies.
That would
Just
be,
on movies.
That would be phenomenal. But I don't know if that's the appropriate subject for this podcast.
Dude, you know what the good thing is that
We
we
just
can
give it a different title for that one
No,
episode.
but we can do whatever we want, man.
awesome.
There's no rules. Who's gonna tell you, dude? Don't talk about that. This is the great thing about this platform. man.
We're gonna movies like that are inappropriate for children. How's that?
How about movies that are inappropriate for children that I watched before I was 6?
Sorry, I'm just gonna a little off topic here, but I'm gonna go back to one thing that you said before about the mess and the balls on the floor, and you're afraid to fall all the time.
Yeah.
Something I wanted to say. My son, his current obsession as far as movies goes is Home Alone.
I thought you were
the
gonna
original
say
Home Alone.
He's touching his balls all the time.
Yeah, no,
We're there. He's always touching his balls. Yeah.
yes, but that's not where I was going. So he's obsessed with Home Alone, right? I introduced my kids to Home Alone because it was a childhood movie of mine.
yeah.
It's a holiday movie. It's
For sure.
it's a
Yeah,
great Christmas
My
movie.
kids love
So
it.
when Christmas comes around, we watch Home Alone. The problem is my son can't let go of Home Alone. Now he knows the movie so well. Like, just a couple of weeks ago, what did he do to me? He knew I was gonna come home and walk through the door, and he put all of his Hot Wheels in front of the door
From the movie.
so that I can fall, right?
yeah.
I didn't fall. I saw them. I said, why are the cars here? He's like, I wanted you to fall like Harry and Marv. You want to kill Daddy?
That's so funny.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
I leave you with that.
Thanks a lot, man.
Thank
and,
you.
To anyone watching or listening, remember, subscribe, share, comment. We're on every audio platform, YouTube, Facebook, wherever the hell you listen to your podcasts or watch them. Give us a thumbs up, whatever. Let us know what you think. Alex, thanks so much, man. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
it, man.
Thank you for having me, guys. This was a blast.
Awesome. We'll do it again.
For sure, we're going to do it again.
Amazing.
There's so many things we can do. We can even jam, fuck.
Yeah.
We do whatever we want.
How long have we been doing this?
This
Right
is our
now?
third episode.
Oh, this episode or
Yeah,
just
no,
today?
this episode. How long was it?
2 hours.
Yeah, almost 2 hours.
It felt like 20 minutes to me.
Yeah,
It was so much fun.
Yeah.
It's great.
Thanks a lot, buddy.
Thank you.
Peace.